hash out all the technical difficulties, man.
Yeah, I see.
It's a work in progress. It's in a work in progress, man.
That's all right. We'll upgrade it over time. It'll get better and better with time.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Hey, so Buckeye, you been watching a lot of videos?
Not so much for the last few days. Now, one of the videos some of the stuff that I have been catching, I caught Brian's rollout earlier, his live stream. And I caught a couple of Chris's videos over there, Sideshow Gamble, and Chris, the Dice DJ, and his videos doing the March Madness. I've been catching those. Other than that, I haven't been catching like too many strategy videos or anything.
Well, hello everyone. This is Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps, and we're having a little bit of difficulty with the green room people in the Zoom, so stand by. But guys, for those of you that are in the chat, you may have seen a message sent earlier about a special guest and a special host. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on the screen, and we're going to talk about something. Now, you recognize him. That's John from CRAPS, and Skill is not here today. So we want to make a message and an announcement. I understand that Mrs. Skill was on with Greg's channel today, but earlier this morning, Skill was rushed to the hospital, and he's in ICU. He went through a procedure today, and he is stable. So with that said, John graciously stepped up to the plate and said that he would co-host. Hey, John, how are you?
Good, Jeff. How are you doing? Under the circumstances, I suppose not great, but you know, it is what it is. I also talked to Skill's wife today, and by all accounts, he's doing well now, but pretty scary situation right there.
Oh no.
Yeah. He now, for those of you in the chat, we can hear the people in Zoom.
Oh my God.
And you can hear the people in Zoom, but they can't hear us, so it's unfortunate. But yeah, he had a heart attack. It sounded like, and he had a couple of major blockages, and they were able to correct that with some stents and that sort of thing. And he's stable at this point, but pretty scary situation, of course. And yeah, it sucks. You know, it sucks big time. It's interesting. We talk about this all the time about how close we all are. Okay. Right. This community. This community is so close, and when anybody goes down, take it personally. It's like losing a friend or a friend of yours gets jacked up, and we're all here. And so my heart is with Joy and Dylan, and my prayers as well. And I hope I see in the chat all the prayer emojis out there, and I hope that however you all deal with that you send some love to the family. Obviously it's a scary time. As you know, I had a similar situation years back, and the person recovers quickly, right? Your heart's actually pretty strong, and doctors are great, but Mrs. Skill is going to have a tough time. It's hard. My wife struggled mightily when that happened in our house, and I'm sure that Joy is having a rough time right now. So Joy, to you and your family, prayers from me and prayers on behalf of our guests here tonight. We love Skill.
Yep. All right, guys. I am actually having some technical difficulties. I'm having an echo with my voice. I'm not supposed to. We can hear the people in the green room, so I'm going to go ahead and bring them on the screen and get them on the screen and see if we can get this audio situation taken care of. All right. So with us in the green room is Kevin and Buckeye, and I have to fix one thing. I see. Guys, you know how close I am with skill. And today when I heard the news, I was actually playing live on Live Fantasy Craps with George over at CY, and we were in the last roll.
Yeah, Buckeye, pretty soon
and
coming
once
on.
we got that that announcement, it pretty well affected me. Now, Kevin, can you hear me? Kevin still cannot hear me. All right, can somebody type in the chat and just say that we see Kevin and we see Buckeye, but I'm trying to fix the audio. All right. All right, we can hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write a note to them real quick. Buckeye and Kevin, please turn.
All right.
We can hear you. I'm typing them so they know we can hear you.
Yes. 1 second.
Us,
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
I'm just letting them know what's going on. I just typed them in chat so they can hopefully see that in a few seconds. So there we go. Yeah, we're working on the audio issue 5s. Yeah, there's just a situation where for some reason the people in Zoom can't hear Jeff or myself. We don't know why that is.
Yep. And I'm trying to work on that,
I've got
guys.
you guys running on YouTube, so I can hear you, but I can't hear you through Zoom. So Kevin,
all right, thank you, Buckeye.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll write this down here too. I'll say, as soon as you can hear us, please jump up and down. That way, we'll know. We can just start talking about other things, and we'll let these guys just kind of start doing this when they can hear us. And that way, we'll just know. So in the meantime, let's chat. Let's talk craps. So while Jeff's working on the audio, and we're waiting for Buckeye and Kevin to get where they can hear us and contribute into the show, let's just talk. Looks like somebody else is joining in as well. Who is that? Oh, it's Vince. Old Vince is coming in. Great. And again, Vince will be able to join as well in audio here as soon as we get going. So with that said, let's get the show going here and talk about I got an echo too there, Jeff. Let's talk about what you all want to talk about. I think we had talked initially about a couple of things. I got a bad echo, Jeff.
Yeah, it's because Buckeye has got his YouTube on.
Hold on.
Yeah, I muted it.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, I was just getting tough. So one of the things, and by the way, this show is designed to be, I know that Jeff and Skill have talked about this ad nauseum. We want the show to be highly interactive, right? So it's not designed to be the Jeff and John and Skill show. If you have something to say, Jeff, I think once he gets the audio figured out, he'll give you a link. Jump in, talk to us real quick and get out, right? Come in, give us a minute of your time and then bug out, and we can get a cycle of a bunch of people through here. We'd love to talk to everybody about whatever's going through your minds. There's a lot of things happening. Obviously, I talk all the time about the DiceCon. I had a nice long talk with Jeremy and the team over there today about the DiceCon stuff and what's going to happen there. We talked a little bit in chat about this idea of what are you collecting? What does your table look like? That kind of thing. I actually brought out in advance of this all of my collector's chips. And I know that some of you will put me to shame, but I've got a pretty stealthy stack here of all these chips that I've collected from people that I've met in person, which is kind of cool. I'd like to, as you come on, if you're going to be a guest tonight, come on and bring one of your favorite collectible dice with you. It'd be kind of cool to see what you've done. A lot of us go to casinos and grab a dice, or grab a chip rather, on the way out the door, like take the dollar chip or whatever it is. These are all chips that actually other YouTubers have made, custom chips, like Jeff's custom chip is in here. I've got a couple of my prized possessions, which are these, and those of you who know what these are. Can you see them up close? I know that there's one person that's going to be pretty stoked to see that, but if you look at the red chip specifically, you'll probably recognize that, and that's a thing that I'm pretty proud to own. Actually, it came from somebody's home table that we all know and love. And it's one of those things where I think it kind of brings us together. It's this little way of kind of sharing a little bit of each other as we go. So with that said, if you come on tonight, you've got some cool, interesting casino chips or things you've collected from other folks. Just when you come in, hold them up, share it, tell the story. And that'll be kind of a cool ticket to entry, I think, as we go. So with that said, I'm going to be watching the chat here for minutes and seeing what you all want to talk about. What questions do you all have? And let me know. Otherwise, I'll just sit here and talk all night long. So I'm waiting to see some chat messages and questions and that kind of thing. Otherwise, I'll just go. Jeff, how are we doing over here on the audio stuff?
I'm still working on it. If anybody in the Zoom can just tell us if they can hear us now. Can either one of you hear us? Looks like they can't. And I'm not sure exactly why they cannot hear us, because everything is set up on my end the way it's supposed to be, John, and I don't understand why they're not hearing us. So, Kevin, Vince, Chris, either one of you can hear us?
I'm going to guess, Jeff, in your Zoom, right? The Zoom has the microphone. It must be like an internal feed, like a virtual mic that you're setting up from vMix into Zoom. Is that what it is?
Yes.
And it's just not working.
And it's just not working. That's what I'm trying.
Oh wait, Dice DGen says he can hear us. That's interesting.
He can?
So Chris, you can hear us, Chris?
Through YouTube, or can he hear us through Zoom?
I'm guessing through YouTube.
Yeah, that's probably where they're listening to us for. We are, I'm not exactly sure. It looks like there is a problem. And I hate to do this, guys, because it's a really special night tonight that we want to talk about dialing. And who said that they can hear John?
That was Chris. But it sounded like he heard us through YouTube, not through the Zoom directly.
Yeah.
Not in real time.
My Zoom is not connecting to the NDI. How about if I do that again?
So Louis G is saying like the challenge coins you collect. So yeah, I mean, the military challenge coins are really cool.
In the green room.
Yeah, you can hear each other, but not us.
That's fine.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I heard Buckeye and I heard Vince as well. And I can hear you guys, but I don't know if you can hear us.
Yeah, we can hear you guys.
Nobody can ever
you just can't hear us.
Vince has a voice all of us.
All right.
Oh my
leave
goodness,
them in
this is
so
so
they
funny.
can talk among themselves. I'm actually starting one more thing. I'm going to start one more software up, John. I mean, this. I feel bad because you know I'm already emotional about my news about my good friend Dylan.
Yep.
I think I fixed it.
That was fun.
Well, I may have been able to fix it. They should be able to hear us now. Let's go out. Let's go out and take a look. See if they do. Guys in the Zoom, can you hear us? All right. Hey, Jeff just forgot to turn on a switch. I'm sorry, guys. I hope you all bear with me. You guys know that I am, for those of you who don't know, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I am a big teddy bear, sentimental, compassionate person. And I was playing today. I just got done rolling live with George. We had live fantasy craps this morning over at George from CY, and the phone rings and it says dialing. So I muted my microphone and I answered the phone and said, "Hey, dialing, what's up? I'm in the middle of live fantasy craps." And he told me, he said, "Jeff, I'm not going to be able to make the show tonight. My wife has taken me to the hospital. I believe I'm having a heart attack." And my heart just dropped, guys. I've never met dialing face to face, but we're all just big family here. And when he did that, I waited for the show to be over with. George exited out of the live fantasy crap show from this morning, and we sat in chat, and I kind of told George, because you guys that are in the Craps Nation, dialing was one of the originals, or shortly thereafter, according to what George said, that started that quite some years ago. So as long as you guys are in the chat and you can hear us, I think we're going to be good to go. I may have to turn your audio on just so that everybody else can hear you, but so just bear with us, guys. I apologize for this. I'm going to say it once again. I had a screen that I was going to put up so that we all could keep some prayers from dialing, and I had an audio problem right off the bat. So I am going to put that up here. John, your mic might mute, but I'll put you right back on. All right, so I was going to put this up here, and I was going to show you guys. This is what I was going to put in the beginning. And I was just going to say, please keep dialing from Skill and Luck in your prayers, in your thoughts and prayers. And there's his logo, Skill and Luck. I can tell you guys, I was a paramedic for 24 years, and I transported a lot of people when they were worried about what they were having in their medical emergencies. And that's what I heard in Skill's voice today. And John, you heard John say as well that he had a similar incident, and John's young as well. Not that Dylan's not young, but I heard the urgency in his voice, and I told him to get off the phone, pay attention to your wife, get to the hospital. And both John and I have been in contact with Joy, Mrs. Skill, this afternoon. He went and had a procedure. He had what most of us would probably understand. He had some stents put in, and he's going to be in ICU for a few days. What Joy asked me to do is, if you guys would like to send something to him, a message or an email. His email is in his YouTube channel, but if you can't get it to him, I will take them all. You can send it to me at jeff@midatlanticcraps.com. Again, that is jeff@midatlanticcraps.com. And I told Joy that I would get them over to him. And I said to Joy today, as soon as he gets out of ICU, let me know, because I want to send him something. And I told her that the prayers from the Craps community was there. And she started telling me stories about Dylan and her and Craps. And she says, Dylan, he sleeps, he works, he eats, and he craps. And when she said craps, that's not what we're thinking about. She was talking about playing craps, the game of craps, the game of dice. And she was in good spirits. She had a similar incident in the family, so she knew what to expect. But I'm telling you, in Dylan's voice this morning, it was urgent. And with that said, guys, I'm going to go back over here to the other screen, and we'll get our Zoom panel on here tonight. And I'll go ahead and start checking the chat. Guys, I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me. And here we are. We're live. Craps Chats. It's actually episode 7.
The guys are frozen, Jeff, by the way. We can't see their video.
Nope, I can fix that too. Remember, that's one problem that I've been having, John, but I can fix that in just a heartbeat. Cool. I do know how to fix that one. Yep. So, and anyway, they can still hear us because I can see the audio is now working right. So
maybe in honor of Skill, I should do the lean back and the recliner thing tonight. Just kind of kick back and chill through it and just talk about that. But
guys, I'm going to have to go back through the chat, but first of all, I do want to welcome our guest in the chat. It looks like we have Kevin Farm, all the way from Hawaii. How are you doing, Kevin? I'll give you a second to talk. Buckeye Slim, welcome to the channel. I know I've seen your face one other time. I'm glad you're on the Craps chat with us tonight. Chris Dice-Dejan, welcome back, my friend. And Vince, just a couple days ago, you had an opportunity to play Skill in a challenge on the Heads Up challenge match, Friday Night Fights, over on John's channel. I know we're not talking about it, Vince, but what we're really talking about is you had an opportunity to talk to Skill. A lot of banter went back and forth. What you guys don't know, I got a message that said, hey, looks like Skill's really picking on Vince really bad. Guys, we got off the line, and Vince will contest to this. We probably talked another hour after we got done with that, and Vince and Skill, I think everything is fine. Vince, so let's start with you, Vince. How are you doing? Uh-oh.
We lose him?
Let's see why. I did. Yep. Here we go. All right.
YouTubers and Craps gurus an opportunity to play online against each other and show their stuff. I'm not a king of the mountain. I don't think I'll ever be, but that damn Skill, he's too good for me, my friend. He's been busting my chops and beating my strategies for 5 years. I figure I might have him. Oh, well.
Well, but anyway, we did have fun on Friday Night Fights. We'll talk about that here in a minute, John. Let's go up to let's welcome our new guest tonight, Buckeye. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on tonight. It's good to finally meet you guys in voice and in video. You know, I'm looking forward to meeting you all in person one day, getting to hit a table with you together.
Good. Let's go down to Dice-Dejan. Chris, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing awesome. Thank you for having me on, Jeff. Prayers to Skill and his family. Love everything that he puts out and stuff. If anyone hasn't seen it, his challenge is in my final matchup in the Craps Madness tournament. So someone was looking over him this morning in that challenge, and looking forward to seeing that. But prayers up to Skill and his family. and looking forward to a good chat with everyone tonight.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Chris. And Kevin, my friend, all the way from Hawaii, how are you doing?
Aloha. I just
Aloha
like
to you.
to say my prayers and my aloha goes out to Dylan and Joy. You know, life is so precious, so we can't take life for granted. I was a firefighter for 30 years in Hawaii. I seen a lot of patients. I seen a lot of, tragedies, but we have to embrace life and just take every day one day at a time and appreciate what we have. You know, love your family, love everyone close to you, because you don't know if there's a tomorrow. You know, life is, you cannot take life for granted. So just appreciate life, and hope for the, my prayers are with Dylan and Joy, and hope it's a very favorable outcome. And I know Dylan will be back with us once again. So just send me my aloha to Skill and Luck to Dylan.
Okay, we certainly will. Once again, if anybody would like to send something to Dylan, you can send it to me at jeff@midatlanticcraps.com. I certainly will forward all messages, and I will let you guys know. I'm sure maybe Joy will pop back on there. We'll let you know when he's out of ICU and on his way home. I do have his mailing address. Obviously, we don't want to put it out here on YouTube, but I certainly would share it with anybody that would want it through chats. And right on cue, there is Duracell with his typical click the likes up, the thumbs up button, and click the like button. So thank you there, Duracell. We appreciate that. Anybody that would like to join the show, that was one thing that we didn't actually get a chance to get to, and I didn't get a chance to get to that screen. You can join the show very simply by going into the description of this show. There's a bunch of links there. There is, there's another technical issue. There is a bunch of links that are there. My camera is going to come back on in just one second, guy. There's a bunch of links in the description below, and you guys can go there, join the show through Zoom. Come on in, join the panel. Give your thoughts and prayers for Dylan. We're going to talk about a lot of things here. I know we're 25 minutes into the show, and I really appreciate everybody bearing with us, and that's how you get in the show. Also in the description below, if you're not a sub to Casino Gaming TV, Mid-Atlantic Craps, Pro Craps, and even Skill's channel, Skill and Luck has a channel, there's a link in there, a real quick bit link. You can click on that and you'll subscribe to his channel, and you'll be able to be a subscriber and get notifications from that as well. All those are in the description below. If you're having problems finding the description, you can go to crapschat.com. Right at the top, it'll tell you how to get into the show. So with that said, that's how you get into the show. Let's go ahead and head to the panel, back to the panel here. Guys, if you're going to ask a question tonight, I ask you to put a capital Q. At least a capital Q. It's a question that you would like to have talked about. If you have a question for one of our panelists that are on the show tonight, whether it be Buckeye, Chris, Vince, and or Kevin, put their name out there with a semicolon, and I'll mark that to come back and talk about that. And if you have a question for John at Pro Craps, just like on his Coffee and Craps, put the PC and put Mac for me, and we'll see what happens. Right now, I've got to scroll back through to see if there's any questions. I know we talked about Dylan an awful lot. I'm going back through and looking at some questions. I do want to say that 24 minutes before the show started, this message popped up. 24 minutes before the show started. We weren't even live, and Greg over at 555's had his 555 hand up. So I did mark that, and the second one that was in there was Joe Ramus. He was in there and said hi to Greg, and then, of course, Buckeye was there, and Buckeye went ahead and said, hey, yo. So once again, guys, if you're going to go back in and put a question in, please put a Q. We really don't have any topics. You can see that my mind is really not here today. I'm a big compassionate teddy bear, and I think the world of skill. And I was talking to John earlier today, and he knew that it affected. We actually thought about canceling the show, and I don't think that's what Dylan would have wanted. I don't think he would have wanted that. He would have wanted us to go on. And John, being the gracious person that he is, he offered to come in. Big AZ's here, and I'm going to go ahead and put this up there. Thank you, Big AZ. We really appreciate that. I did send Big AZ email just before showtime and told him that the Skill was in the hospital, and he sent his prayers, but I'm glad he stopped by to see us. So it looks like we may have our first question. I'll queue up here. Does anybody have anything particular before we get to talking about craps? Anybody? Anybody got anything they'd like to say?
I will say this.
I have a funny comment.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Kevin.
When I first joined the chat, and I met Jeff at Mid Atlantic, and Dylan was from Skill and Luck. I thought his name was Dial-In, like DIALIN, so like a dial in. So I was confused, like Dial-In, but actually his name is Dylan. So that was just something. I thought his name was Dial-In, but it's DYLAN. I thought it was Dial-In, but
when he told
it's
me,
all good now.
The story goes that they call him Dylan, and I said, no, it's Dylan. He said, no, it's Dylan. I said, I'm looking at it here, Dylan, it's Dylan. He said, no, my mom spelled it that way, and she used it as Dylan, as in the old time when you used to have to dial the phone. For you youngsters out there, you don't know what we're talking about. For John and me, we know exactly what we're talking about, but it's pronounced Dylan, and he spells it DYLAN. Once again, we got some questions coming in, guys. If you're going to put some questions, please put a Q in front of it. I caught one, so I'll be going back to that here in just a few seconds. We probably should actually start with that one. John, did you have something you were going to say, or I missed somebody?
Yeah, I want to piggyback what you said earlier, which is please, if you have something to say to Dylan, now I'm going to say Dylan all night long, to Dylan, get it to Jeff and let's get it over to him. I can tell you this, when I had my incident way back, I was playing hockey at the time, and the hockey community here in Seattle was as big and as whatever the word I'm looking for, as cohesive as our craps community is. And I didn't really realize it until I got the hundreds of notes from my fellow teammates and players in the league about their well wishes, and I can't tell you how much that meant to me and the family. So to have an outpouring of support to him would be just a letter that says, dude, love you, wish you get better. That means so much. It really does. It's an uplifting thing for a really hard time. So don't be shy about writing a letter to Jeff, and Jeff is not going to read them, obviously. Just send them to him. He'll forward them on. And I can tell you from experience, that will mean a lot to Joy and to Skill. 100%.
Yes, it will.
Do not hesitate to spend 15 minutes. The time spent to write that means as much to the person as the words that you say. So anyway, I'll leave it at that.
All right, so we'll go ahead and end this topic with Skill, and we'll come back to Dylan and before the date is over with. But Joe Ramus says, can we take up a donation for Skill as a retired truck driver, that being Joe? We make good money, but there's one figures out to be about minimum wage. It does not get there, so the health benefits are not also super. I will tell you that I did have a small conversation with Joy today, and she told me just to hold off on that part of it until we see what the diagnosis and the prognosis is for Skill. So I think, John, you can shake your head if you want to. You and I kind of spoke about something. If that's needed, I think that this whole craps community would step up to the plate and would help them if they actually needed it. So we're gonna hear more about that, Joe. I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Skill actually was driving Friday night when he was on Friday Night Lights with Vince. He was on his 10-hour downtime. For you truck drivers, you have to have a downtime. So he was there in his downtime. Saturday night, I went live testing software, doing a couple upgrades, which evidently I wasn't very successful with. And George from CY came on and gave me a dice setting lesson. We're not going to talk about dice setting right this particular moment. We can if somebody wants to. And then, Dylan and I stayed on after George was on till wee hours of the morning. He had actually pulled into his terminal and was waiting to unload and do some paperwork while we played. And I just talked to him. I bet it wasn't even 8 hours later. So with that said, Joe, thanks for bringing that out there. I'm going to go back and take a look at the chats and see if there's anything else out there. Anybody else want to get started? Looks like we have somebody else here. I can't even see who that is. Who joined us here?
Joe.
Joe.
Hey. How you doing?
Welcome.
What's up, Joe?
Hey, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, Joe?
All right.
All right. So yeah, I can't.
Actually,
I can't
not
always
working
see
tonight, so I can actually join for a short time tonight.
Well, you are welcome. You are welcome here. That's for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and head on over to one of the questions that just first popped up here. I've got to go to my queue here. Chris over at Sideshow Gamble he calls it I think it's a stupid, but I'm going to go ahead and put it up here and we can talk about it. It's stupid. Let's see. What type of chips does everyone use for the best results in their video? That's probably a YouTube content provider. I actually have ceramic chips and I have clay chips. So I have a mixture of chips. I think here's the best chips you can use, Chris. Whatever works for your game, because you're doing this at home, and some chips are expensive. You get those the black chips like what John has there, and you buy all of them. You buy the white ones, the red ones, the green ones, the black ones. And John, did I hear you say you're going to order some yellow ones too?
Yeah. So here's the thing. My answer to this. So the ones I have now, I don't recommend. I'm going to show them to you. These are called Milano chips. I got them from, I don't know where I got them from, and the insert of these chips is shiny. It's like a silvery kind of thing. So if you notice on my videos, you can see the outer ring, but the inside is glares on the camera. So they're awful. They're nice chips, but they're awful for camera. So I actually bought for my channel. I just spent like $500 on chips, and I bought them with super bright colors around the outside and very muted background because I don't want that glare. And the ceramic chip sometimes, here's actually Jeff's chip, the green Mid-Atlantic chip, and there's some glare to this chip. I wouldn't use this chip on camera because the glare. You got to get them with the muted, like the least shiny chips you can find, because the lights on our tables will reflect off the chip. So if you're shopping for chips, get the ones that have no shine to them at all. They'll be much more camera friendly to you. If you care about such things, right? If you're a channel, that's what I would say. If you're
I don't mean to
if you're doing it for home use,
from the videos I've seen all over YouTube, though, these simple, basic Bradbury chips that you can get on Amazon for pretty cheap, they come up pretty good on camera. They don't have a whole lot of glare to them, and they're easily visible.
Yeah, it's that glare that you got to be careful of, and that's like the muted colors are better for camera for sure.
Yeah, I bought my chips at casinoforyou.com, and they came in sleeves of I think 20 or so, and I spent probably about $150 on all my chips. But I have enough chips on my table for at least 4 players if I was to have people come over and play. So, and that was anything from singles all the way up to 100s and 500s I got. So.
Yeah, you can get I think a 500-piece set on Amazon for about $45, I think.
Yep. Yeah. I actually have a whole slew of chips, guys.
You get a 500-piece set. I mean, they're cheap. You know, they're not going to be anything fancy or impressive to look at, but for purposes of video and being able to see them and have them be visible, they'll work out well.
Yeah, the least amount of white possible. If the chips have a bunch of white in them, that white reflects so bad, and that's the big thing. So just look for heavy color of the chip if you can do it.
Yep. All right, guys.
I have a comment for John at CRAPS.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, John. You know, every time you do a rollout and you have all the black chips in your rack, then you use the black lammers. It's hard for us to differentiate the 100 or 5 chip denomination. So you told me on your video that you're gonna order the laminars with the white, but you know,
I just
your
ordered them.
Rackology 101 is awesome, but
thank you.
Just gotta say that the black with the black lammers doesn't do any justice because it's hard for us to see.
I know.
Hey, does John have $500 or $600 in his rack? You know, but I'm waiting for you to get
more than you think.
the laminars with the white, and they'll come out better on screen.
Yeah, I just ordered them. I just actually, and the thing is, the lammers. So everybody wants my lammers, right? Which is cool. I just ordered a new set of lammers. I got to buy them in blocks of 300. That's all they'll sell them to me, right? 300. So I ordered 300 black, and now 300 white, thanks to you. So I've got both colors coming in, and they're $2 per lammer. They raised the price of plastic. Thank you to the government for making oil so freaking expensive. And they're $2 a piece now. So I just ordered 600 of those damn things. So thanks, Kevin, for having me blow a mortgage payment on Lammers.
Hey guys, I have some of those for sale. I got some right here for sale.
Hey,
I just held up one of them.
Yeah, no, I just ordered a whole
Get those for free,
pile
Jeff?
of those things. Yeah.
Yes, I did, and a coffee mug too. Still waiting for the T-shirt.
Yeah, and you got
they
a
don't
mug.
make them. They don't make them in my size, John said.
For free, John.
All right, so looks
they're
like,
coming. They're spending. I'm completely out. I've got the 20 that I play with now. I've given them all away. So the next set I get will be in Vegas when I go there for DiceCon. I'm going to pick up all the Lammers and all my custom chips at the same time. So I actually brought a second suitcase to bring it all home.
Nice.
What I'm hoping to do in DiceCon, like we said, is I want to literally exchange chips. I want to come home with like 50 new chips. Like everybody's got them, and I want to get everybody's custom chip, and I want to get a chip from every casino. So, special luggage for the chips.
Yeah, you get enough the way the luggage down. That is for sure. Looks like there's a question out there for you, Joe, John, or from Saigon. John, where did you order your chips from? I guess that's what they're asking.
Casino Supply. I got my the Lammers I get from Spinetti's. Spinetti's is in Vegas. They're great for most things. The Lammers and the custom chips for my table that I just ordered, I got from Casino Supply, and also my tabletop. So the layout that I did there, they charged me $50 to do all the design work. Like the guy, I probably exchanged 75 emails with this poor guy, getting my chips perfect, getting the layout perfect. And that was at $50 plus the cost of the stuff. It was like nothing. It didn't cost anything. So yeah, they're great. They're a fantastic company.
Is it Jeremy on his Color Up trip? Aren't they making a trip to Spinetti's? Did I see that somewhere, or that was in the chat somewhere? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do a tour of Spinetti's. They're going to show us the back room. Yeah, we're going to see the back room where they make tables. Or they actually make tables there, so we have to watch them construct craps tables, and I'm looking forward. That'd be kind of cool.
And while we're talking about chips, I got a little story for y'all.
Go ahead.
Can y'all see this? Y'all see this chip?
Let me see if I can bring that up a little better. Just keep talking about it and hold it up there. Let me see if I can get you on the screen a little better.
Okay, so this is a $5 chip from Hollywood Casino in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, so we were talking about collector chips earlier. Let me tell you how I got this chip. I went down there on my way back from Indiana a couple of months ago. And me and my friend Sosa decided we was going to stop at the casino and see what we could do. So we go in there. And from the time we start playing until the time we left, we could not catch a win. We were making small bets, making bigger bets, making in-between bets. Couldn't really get, we caught a win or two here or there, but we couldn't get into profit the whole time. So we finally get down to the last bet that we can make before they up the table limit, because it was at 15. They about to take it up to 25. We make our last bet. The bet loses. I got so mad, I just walked out the door. But I have this habit of putting chips in my pocket while I'm playing. So the only chips that I cashed out were ones that were in my hand. I got all the way home to Cleveland and realized I still had this chip in my pocket. And the fact that it was red made me see red, and it was a reminder of how bad they whooped me. So now this is my revenge chip. This is the chip that I have to take back with me to Hollywood Casino when I go back down there, so that I can take my revenge on them for the money they took from me when I went in there with my homeboy.
That is awesome.
It is an interesting story. Real quick, before we move on to the next question or get more comments about this, how to join the show is there. It's in the description and the link below. Anybody can join. Just go right there. You're coming right in. There's no green room tonight. I'm letting everybody come right in because I didn't want to have to worry about worrying about everything else I had going on here. And for those latecomers that just came to the show, I know Brian from Hawaii Craps Shooters just joined us. Brian, you may not have heard this yet, but we are saying a prayer for Dylan tonight. Dylan from Skill and Luck is in the hospital. He had a heart attack this morning, and he's doing well. He's in ICU, and we've already talked about that. But I'm going to put this screen up here a couple more times during the show, just so everybody will know that as you're coming in late. Looks like we're up to somewhere around 40. I think it was 40. 38, somewhere like that, the people that are online. So with that said, If you have a question, put it in the queue. If you have a question for somebody, put their name on the panel. If you want to join, in the description below. Let's go on to the next question. Next question is a really good one. Wow, it's a good one from Arnell. I wish Arnell would come join us on the show because he could actually fit right. He could fit right in with this question. Arnell has a question for the panel. Give us a little information about themselves and where they normally play. I think that's a pretty good question. So let's go ahead and. Should we go from the oldest to the newest, or the best looking to the... Okay, Vince, we're going to start with you, and I know that you have a story about where you play and a little bit about yourself, but go ahead, Vince, we'll start with you.
Hey, Jeff, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the oldest, or are you talking about the sexiest? You're going to start with the first one.
I knew I was going to get a comment out of you.
I got
to let the newest and the sexiest go first, Vince, so you had to bypass me.
Come on, man.
I thought you were going to start with Kevin. Mr. White.
Hey,
got the stuff.
I'm the youngest, man. What you talking
about?
The
stuff.
Come on.
All right, Vince. Well, Vince, tell us a little bit about yourself. We know your channel. Where do you normally play? And maybe we can get through the 6 or 7 of us here. But go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, well, I started gambling in Vegas in 2002. and professionally blackjack mostly, and then I met a girl on a chat line, so I moved to Canada and married her, and that was the first one. No, that was the second one. Hey, listen. No,
oh
I'm
my
good.
gosh.
I'm in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Things are good. We got 2 local casinos just outside the border of Niagara Falls, New York, Buffalo, New York. So if you're in the area, you can come over to the border and come to Falls View. That's my stomping ground. When I'm high rolling it, I go to the Woodbine Casino, but now they took the craps tables out everywhere. So we're stuck at Falls View for a while. That's it.
Well, look, we have a comment coming in the chat there, Vince, about you, and it looks like it's from a guy from Mid-Atlantic Craps that actually thought that you started playing craps when they were actually used bones for the dice.
Oh, man.
I actually got a set of it.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe that.
Actual bone dice, yeah, that's funny.
What's that, John? I'm sorry.
Vince is the mad scientist.
I actually have a set of dice
down for centuries.
I have a set of dice that are actually bones, like my skull dice for Vince.
Yeah, let me keep
in honor of
Vince
Vince.
up there, John. I'll put you up there.
Yeah.
There you go.
There they are, bone dice. That's my twos. Yeah.
Oh, man. I just had to put that out there, Vince. You know I'm only jabbing at you. Dylan's not here to pick on you tonight, so it's me. All right, let's go on. We'll go to you next, Buckeye. Go ahead and tell us.
All right. All right, thanks for having me again tonight, y'all. The Ohio State Buckeye Slim is in the building. First and foremost, I just want to once again send up special thoughts and prayers going out to Skill and Mrs. Skill over there with the situation that they're dealing with. We know Skill's going to pull through it. He's a strong fighter. He's a trooper. We'll see him back online soon. A little bit about me. Born and raised Cleveland, Ohio. Travel back and forth to Vegas every month or 2, sometimes 3. Try to get out there as often as I can. Where I usually play is right here in Cleveland downtown at Jack Casino, unfortunately. But it's given me a chance to really build up my game a little bit because I got faced with the $25 challenge and I had to find ways to overcome it. So it's really helped to develop me as a player. When I go out to Vegas, places I play at the most, probably Ellis Island, Jerry's Nugget, Harrah's, Cromwell, and all the places on Fremont, everywhere in the whole Fremont area. Like I play all up and through there. I won't play craps at El Cortez, but I like roulette there. They got a good roulette game. Everywhere else, pretty much, I play. Oh, in the plaza. I won't play craps at the plaza either. I don't like throwing dice on trampolines. But roulette there again, good game. $10 table, $15 single zero. Other than that, anywhere on Fremont and a couple other places down on the strip. I like to try to spread out a little bit, maybe get outside, go to Sunset Station or head out to the cannery or something like that. But
all right.
Other than that, I'm just loving being a part of the community, man, and growing with it.
Oh, man.
And learning so much from you guys, man. All of you guys, every one of you with a channel that presents content, I learned tons from each and every one of you. Really helps me develop my game. So I appreciate you all.
Buckeye, I'm going to throw you some shade here. I'm mostly happy to have you here. But you just said something tonight that rocks me to my core, which is Ohio State Buckeyes. Now, you're talking to a Spartan over here. And you all just beat the ever-loving shit out of my team this year. My God, we were doing so good. 45-9 beatdown.
Sorry about that, but, you know, the stars wasn't aligned for y'all. You know, the planets didn't line up.
Man.
I don't know what to tell you. It's a normal thing for us to come over there and beat y'all down like that. I don't know.
Look,
it's just kind of tradition.
I love you anyway. I love you anyway, but damn, that was a beatdown.
Hey,
yeah, you know what? Hey, the Midwest for the win, right? Joe's here too from Wisconsin, so the Midwest for the win. But yeah, I don't know if we can be friends anymore. There you go.
Hey, Buckeye, here's something from Brian over at Hawaii Crap Shooters. He says, wow, I finally got to meet famous Buckeye. That is so cool. That's from Brian from Hawaii Crap Shooters. All right.
Brian, I am so looking forward to meeting you and the team at the California one day. I know I'm going to catch y'all out there. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, and Greg, to answer your question earlier, that whooping that we took at Hollywood, it actually wasn't on craps. We were playing roulette. Yeah, we didn't even make it over to the craps table. We got so frustrated with the roulette table that we kind of got locked in, and it became more of a death battle than just a friendly game of roulette. So that's probably why we ended up getting beat so bad, because that wheel beat us to death.
Wow. Well, I see that. That's the question that you're referring to right there, the one that Greg asked. I just put up on the screen, whether it was the light side or the dark side. Maybe I got the wrong one up there, but he also put another one up here. I'm gonna go ahead and put Greg's next one up there for him. I followed up with that question. You know, Buckeye, will you consider getting your craps revenge on the dark side? So, you know, Greg's a dark player. He's a don't player.
Yeah. You know what, Greg? I've been looking more into the dark side over the last few weeks, and yes, I would consider getting it, but I'd have to consider it. I wouldn't consider getting it while I'm shooting. I'm gonna crush myself. But if I'm betting on other players, then yeah, I would definitely consider getting my revenge on the dark side. I've been watching how well Andre comes through and just stomps the hell out of everybody. So yeah, I would consider it.
Yeah. All right. Real quick before we move on to Kevin, I'm going to put this up here. My good friend, a retired fire chief from Texas, G-Dub, wants to know, can somebody put a battery in that smoke detector? What he's referring to is one of us is playing with chips, and I'm not sure if it was John or not, but somebody was shuffling chips. I think that's what he's talking about. G-Dub, I appreciate the well wishes that you gave me earlier in the week. For those of you that don't know, this past week I actually retired as well, and now I have all the time in the world to go with East Coast Craps AC and play craps locally here in my backyard. All right, enough about that. Kevin, tell us about you. Yeah. I know you fly 3,000 miles. We hear it every week, but come on, tell us a good story.
Yeah, so when I was a little boy in elementary, I used to play, you know, we used to roll the coin closest to the wall. Yeah, closest to the wall.
Oh, yeah.
Then we used to go odd and even, and, you know, we used to bet that way. Then as I got older, we would go to chicken fight and bet on the chicken, you know, the red chicken. This chicken, you know, that got me getting into gambling. So now, you know, to make it official, they had all these promotions to go to Vegas. And, you know, like for $2.99, you could go to Vegas and stay at a Boyd property, you know, California, Fremont, etc. And you would get airfare, transportation to and from the airport. You would get 3 meals a day, and like everything was included, and we couldn't pass up on this opportunity. So we call Las Vegas the 9th Hawaiian island because we have 8 Hawaiian islands in the Hawaiian chain, but we consider Vegas as our 9th island. And we travel a lot to Vegas, you know, like almost 3,000 miles, but we try and make the most that we can while we're in Vegas. So John has a great 3-chip challenge and all of that, but like I said, if I do 3 chips, you know, $75, I'm not going back up to my room. Say, you know, 3 chips, 20%, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go up to my room. I'm going to keep on gambling. But all the lessons that I learned from you guys, money management, rack management, do your 20% and leave. It's a very good discipline system. So all of the love and information you guys all share with all of us keeps us disciplined and keeps us bringing home the money from Vegas. And I just wanted to do a plug. Hawaii Crap Shooters are going to be in Vegas April 20th to the 26th. And they're going to have a meet and greet in Casino Crest on the 25th. So if you want to meet Brian and all of the crew, you should, be in Vegas. We're going to be downtown shooting craps and stuff like that. So if you guys want to meet Brian and Mr. Money Shot and the crew, that's the time to go. The third week in April, April 20th to 26th.
Hey, Kevin, I have a question for you. Kevin.
Yep.
Did Brian slip you a 20 to give that plug? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He gave me a black chip. We have this understanding.
Oh, black chip.
Slides me a black chip, so.
Anyway, I wish Brian would come on the show.
I don't like 20s from him. I like black, so.
I
would chip on the side.
I would try and meet you guys there if I could.
Yeah, rack the black.
It's up to Jeff. Actually.
Yeah, rack the black, baby.
When I go to AC this weekend, actually, I'm going to see you probably Sunday, Jeff, in AC.
Yes.
When I go down there, it's up to Jeff and East Coast and Mike from On Point and maybe Chris Dice DGen. You guys roll some numbers, I can make some money, and I can afford to go to Vegas. I might pop down there and see you guys. Because from Seattle to Vegas, it's pretty cheap, but coming back from Jersey with the big expense, if I can make some money over there, I come down and see y'all.
All right.
I got to give Brian a chip. Brian keeps giving me shit for not giving him a chip, but here's the Hawaii Crap Shooters chip, by the way. I owe Brian a chip, so.
Well, John, what I'll do is next week, I'll give you some of my chips if you're going to see them before me. You can give them the chips. It'll save on that $1.51 mailing fee.
No problem.
Anyway, I put the thanks up there, Kevin. Brian gave you thanks for mentioning that, guys. If you have a question for the panel, remember Q or their name so I can see it, and I'll put the question out there. We do have a couple people that
if you want to meet Money Shot, the man, the myth, the legend, go to Vegas, man. He's a great guy, awesome, awesome guy, awesome content, and he's willing to share his information with you, man. So. Check out Brian if you can, man.
Yep. He just sent a message out there, Kevin. He said that they'll shoot at the Golden Nugget, the only place downtown with the ATS.
You got it, man.
Yep. So with that, let's see. Remember, guys, in the question for those of you that are yes, I would like to be there too. For those of you that are just joining us, I'm going to put this back up here real quick again. I'm going to do this a couple times during the show, guys. We got John on the show tonight because Dylan is in the hospital. He's stable. He's in ICU. He had a heart attack this morning, and all the thoughts and prayers go out to Dylan and Joy and the family. All right, so now we're back over here with this. Any more questions, guys? Put a question in, or we need some things to talk about. This looks like it's coming out to you and me, John, for next weekend. Lewis says that Harris has in AC has $15 sometimes and $10 on Sundays, and we found that out before.
That's great. I love Harris. Yeah, I love Harris out there.
Hey, Brian, I'm going to put your message up here. I was only joking with him about the paid promotion. Anybody on here that has a YouTube content channel, you want to plug your channel or plug something that you're doing for Craps, there's no fee. You just go right ahead and plug whatever you would like to plug, and we'll be happy to have you here. So remember, I want to cue because, guys, I'm missing some of the questions that are coming in. Let's go to my good friend because he said he might not be able to stay the whole time, and we'll save the best for last. Let's go to Joe. Joe, Craps Master Journey. Tell us a little bit about yourself, going back to Arnell's question.
Hey, guys, I'm coming from Wisconsin here. I started off with bubble craps of all things a few years back. Wanted to learn how to play the game craps. I tried the table once, and I lost $100 in less than 5 or 10 minutes. So I thought, hey, how could I learn? So I built myself a table. And in my research for building a table, I found there really was not one site or one area that had everything included. So I thought, I want to share this. I like teaching people. I like show people how to do things. So I started a YouTube channel, and I'm kind of famous now for my building of the table. You know, Jeff talks about it, John talks about it, everybody talks about it. But I'm really getting into the craps strategies, and I just completed a 60 strategies in 60 days series last week. This week I'll be coming out with the new series. I'm going to be actually talking about craps skills, bankroll management, actually building your own strategy, and we're going to see if we can build a strategy light side, dark side, hybrid, something from scratch, something we can bring to the casino and work on it, you know, make it successful. So when that series comes out, when those videos come out, which will be a week or so down the road, if anybody has any suggestions or anything, make sure you put in some comments, you know, give me some ideas on what things I can do differently with these strategies to make it more successful. I also want to give a plug out to Chris over at Dice DJ. He is one of our new channels, and he's doing an awesome job on his tournament. He's down to his final 4 right now. So, and my 2 picks are out of the tournament now. So that sucks. But, you know, hey, craps is a lifestyle for me right now. It's my kids pick on me all the time because that's all I do is I talk craps, or I'm editing videos, or I'm shooting videos, or, you know, it's for me, it's work, sleep, eat, craps. That's about it. So that's what, you know, what's coming from Wisconsin here. I do play up in Green Bay quite a bit at Oneida Casino. I got down to Dubuque a few weeks ago. I played in Wisconsin Dells a few weeks ago. I need to meet up with Arnell, probably in Milwaukee sometime within the near future. And we briefly discussed it a little bit about meeting up. But that's a little bit about myself.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the temperature like over there now?
Today it was really warm today. It was about 42 degrees.
42.
It was almost short weather.
Like tropical for Wisconsin.
42 degrees.
Last week it was like 40 something. Then we had a big snowstorm, so it was like in the low 20s, and then it hit back up to 40 now today. So it's gonna start warming up a little bit every day.
Man, 40 in Wisconsin. Y'all out there in shorts and t-shirts, ain't you?
I was today, yes.
All right, let's go on over. We saved the best for last, because I think everybody knows enough about John and me. We'll leave that question open-ended for our panelists here. Let's go ahead and go. Chris over at Dice DJ, go ahead and tell us about yourself and what's going on, especially in the Philadelphia area. You're in my backyard.
Oh, yeah, Philly boy, born and raised. I haven't moved out of my parents' basement yet, so still chugging along down there. It's also the DGen dungeon, so it's where all the craps happens, but it's a good time. Casinos that I play at a lot, Parks is like 10 minutes from me, so I'm there a lot. Live down by the stadiums now, it's relatively new. And then I play in AC a lot, especially during the summer. I live down at the beach in the summer for the most part, so I play down there a lot in the summer, but at least once a month, if not twice a month, during like the winter months, I'm down in Atlantic City. So there a lot. So I'm sure I will catch you there one time, Jeff, and we'll shoot some dice there. But having really a lot of fun with the whole craps YouTube and stuff. The community's been absolutely amazing. Everybody on this panel, I see people in the comments and stuff, just supporting, providing constructive criticism, providing just general feedback. I love it all, the good, the bad, the ugly. Just improves me. It helps everybody else improve. So it's been great. I really do like it. And the Craps Madness tournament's been cool. It's been hard. Never thought dealing, playing, narrating, and shooting would be so hard at the same time, but it's a bit of a challenge. John can attest to that for sure. Jeff, I know you can too.
It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny. I almost rolled out all 4 of the final 4 at the same time today, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for 2 and 2 and keep it there. But probably going to go live for the championship either Tuesday night of this week or Thursday night. So I got to see who's going live. What was that?
That's must-see TV right there. Let us know ahead of time.
So I got to see who's going live when, because I don't want to interfere with anybody else's live streams and stuff. So maybe Tuesday or Thursday, one of those 2 days. But Skill is in the finals. So again, prayers for him and his family, and hoping for a good result for him. And then we'll see between Greg and somehow the Iron Cross who makes that last Final Four spot.
How in the hell does the Iron Cross make the freaking final?
Believe me, it's funny because I was actually going to make a video on why I don't like the Iron Cross. And then it's beating systems. And I'm like, of course it is.
Yeah, right.
I still got I'm putting a steak special at Ellis Island on the Skill 66.
All right. We'll have live lines updating during the finals. We'll have them live going. I'll start throwing out, live lines on whose strategy's looking the best off the bankroll and stuff, how the shooter's doing. We might have to bring Papa DJ in to shoot. I don't know. Might need a sub. But
there you go.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. Papa DJ was pearling them last time.
Oh, yeah. Papa DJ loves chucking those dice. Kills me every time.
All right. Looks like we had one other person that joined us. Rocky, you're coming in. You're muted
Rocky,
at the moment.
awesome. Yeah.
If you would like to give us the question that's out there, is from Arnell over at Dice Grinders. He asked a question for the people that have joined the show to tell us just a little bit about themselves. And yes, guys, I realize what's going on with Zoom tonight. But if you're there, Rocky, and you can unmute your mic and tell us a little bit about yourself and where you play and so forth, we would greatly appreciate that. Maybe Rocky is not there.
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you now. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, we hear you, brother.
Okay. I live in Texas, so I don't get to play very often. That's why you see me a lot on here on all your channels, because that's about all the craps I get. I am going to get to go to Vegas in April, on April 11th through the 14th. So I'm going to miss the HCS crew, unfortunately, but I will actually get some live craps finally.
Nice.
All right, nice. All right. I am really having a hard time with this Zoom connection tonight, John. I know you're a Zoom expert, but my computer is not letting me. It's not liking me switching back to the showcase screen is what's happening there with them. Yep, there we go. I'm keeping an eye on it. All right, guys. Once again, John just put out there, and I did it at the same time. We almost put it out at the same time. You got a question for the panel, a comment, or something you want to discuss tonight? Put it in the comments with a Q. If you have something for one of the panelists, put their name in front of it, and then specify that out there. So, John, I don't think that we'll comment on Arnell's channel.
They know us well enough by now, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they know you well enough. I'm small beans. I'm just small beans. Looks like I'm going to move on to the next chat. Actually, I'm going to put this one up here from Greg, just for the latecomers that are just joining us. We're having some people come in there. The comment on your screen, guys, that Greg from Fives just put up there was he's having a chuckle, a little thinking about Skill and Luck managing the nursing staff at the hospital from his bed. For those of you that don't know, Skill had a heart attack today. He's in ICU and he is stable. So, Greg, I really appreciate everybody kind of like being upbeat and trying to everybody throw good vibes towards Skill, and we'll get that going. So let's go on to our next question. This comes from Chris over Sideshow Gamble. I'm not quite sure why he's not joining us on the panel today. I did send him a text right before we went live, so maybe he calls her mama. Maybe she won't let him come on live, and he has to be quiet because the kids might be sleeping or something. So let's go ahead and put this next question up here. It comes again from Chris from Sideshow Gamble. Excellent channel. If you haven't subscribed, look it up, Sideshow Gamble. Definitely like and subscribe that as well.
It's a great idea.
Yep. So the question comes, should we build a chart map of all the locations so that we can do live meetups on a regular occasion? Now, John, if you remember on one of the first episodes of Craps Chat, we talked about somebody, in addition to Vince's and his list on his channel, we talked about somebody trying to come up with something, and then they got real in-depth, like table conditions and levels of stuff, and they changed too much to do that. But that's a pretty decent idea. And since we have we have two computer specialists in here. I know, John, you got a lot on your plate, but Vince is retired, and he's an old Microsoft guy. He could probably do that for us. Go ahead, Vince, talk to us.
What do you say, man, scientist?
Oh, you could do a quick Excel file and just put it right into, save it as an HTML and put it on your website, Craps Chat. But I was going to mention there's crapsforum.com. If you go to crapsforum.com, there's a little section in there about trips and meetups. You can actually go there and post table conditions and all kinds of dates when you're going, and specials, bonuses, stuff like that. crapsforum.com.
Who does that website, Vince?
I'm not sure who the webmaster is. I do know there's a lot of bots on there. You know how RSS feeds and bots, but there's real people on there. It's actually real people. Yeah. Same with the Wizard of Vegas forum is also good for trip reports and meet and greets and table conditions. Wizardofvegas.com.
Yeah, I like this idea a lot. I think there's a few folks that have tried to do like a nationwide table conditions type of thing, which is tough. But I'd like the idea of knowing where you all live. Not because I want to come stalk you, but like having a way to know that, you know, I mean, seriously, like when I go, because business does take you around the country. Like I do travel around for my job. And when I'm in, you know, Kentucky, who else is in Kentucky that I can actually reach out to? That'd be kind of a cool thing to know, Vince, not just what the casinos are, but which of our members and friends live where. So like an index of that. That's a neat idea. I like it. That's a great idea.
Anybody can come to Wisconsin. It's nice and not cold here.
Hey, John? John?
Yeah, go for it.
When you come to Hawaii, you know you and I are going to go sit on the black sand beach and drink some whiskey, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Get that cat, right?
That is a life dream of mine. It's the black sand, and I want the Hawaiian. I want the Polynesian legit, like the legit. I'm saving a whole part of my arm for that. Like I want this whole like.
So
the
John,
shoulder and chest Polynesian.
My promise to you, John, we'll get the tat. I'll take you to the black sand beach and we'll drink some whiskey, man.
Oh man, I can't wait. Probably next summer. My daughter graduates high school this year, and so we promised her that after graduation, that's her present. We're going to go to Hawaii. So I will see you for sure. Man. Not before then, but next summer.
I'll be waiting,
definitely a goal. Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be so awesome.
All right. To answer the question, Jay just put up a looks like a website, or could be an IRC. It's rec.gambling.craps. Not sure if that's a website or if that's a subdomain of a website or an IRC channel, but there's something that's also what kind of Vince talked about on that previous question. All right. Let's see here. Once again, I'm going through the chats. I've got a couple more questions we have coming up here. I'm just going to mark a couple of these. I'm not going to take them in the order in which they're coming, but I am going to go to Dice Doctor says, for the panel, let me put this up here so I don't read it for the panel because they may not be able to see it. For the panel, what is the panel member's favorite strategy, light and dark side? And I'm going to throw in there and maybe why. So we start with Vince, and again, and I'm going to let him say because I think I know what he's going to say. But go ahead, Vince. Tell us what you think. What is to answer that question there? Your favorite strategy, light, dark, and why?
You know what? I've been experimenting with a lot of custom strategies created from features from different channels. But when it comes down to it, when you're at the casino, strategies basically go out the window because we basically follow the table. If the table's hot, we're going to be betting what the shooter's betting. Strategies are good to have as a base, something to have in your back pocket. I can't really say a really good strategy. I mean, I'd be lying if I say, hey, it's my strategy. It's obviously 100% my strategy, but I can't because I'd be lying. I actually follow the trend of the table. That's my strategy.
All right. Let's go to, all right, let's go to Buckeye. Buckeye.
Okay, so before I even answer this question, I got to give a huge shout out to Waylon, Waylon's Way Craps. Brother, the way you think and the way you see craps and the way you manipulate these ladders is amazing. Right now, my favorite light side strategy is Waylon's steak and shrimp strategy. Out of all the strategies that I've been practicing with and playing around with, it's actually my favorite one at the moment, simply because it can be used on a real table or on a bubble craps machine, regardless of whether it has hot bets or not. It's just using the place bets. It's effective after 3 rolls. And there's a lot of variations and twists and tweaks that you can do to it just in those 3 rolls. So I'm liking that strategy. I made a little adjustment to it myself that kind of allows it to survive short rolls a little bit longer. But that's my favorite light side strategy. As far as my favorite dark side strategy, none. I don't have a favorite dark side strategy because I don't play the dark side. My wrist is cursed when it comes to the dark. You see this wrist right here? Can y'all see this? You see this wrist right here? There's a curse on this wrist when it comes to the dark side, okay? If I tried to play a dark side strategy, I'm going to crush myself. Very rarely have I been able to win money on the dark side betting on other shooters. So I don't have a favorite dark side strategy, but I do like John's Southern Border strategy as a dark side play in the beginning of the game, to just get on the dark side in case there's an early 7 out. I like that strategy. I'm not gonna lie. If you dealing with a cold table and shooters ain't making it past 3 or 4 rolls, there's a good chance you're gonna win some money on that strategy. So I would have to say that the Southern Border strategy is the way to go on the dark side, for me anyway.
All right. Looks like, can somebody out there in the YouTube land, I just got a message from YouTube. It looks like the stream may have stopped. Can somebody in the chat say that we're still streaming? I've never seen this error before. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Let me look at mine.
Yeah, I've never seen this error before.
Still streaming on mine.
Still streaming on mine.
Yeah, I'm going to actually take a picture and send it to John. He's the
YouTube
guru here. All right, so that's right.
I see it streaming on my channel, Jeff. Yeah, I see it streaming.
Yeah, let's continue. Mark another question here, and let's see who's next on the list there. Let me switch back over to the gallery view. Let's go to Kevin. Kevin.
Well, like I said in the past, if I'm shooting with John, then I'm across of John. He's in the 20% category PSO, so it would be foolish to go, light side. So I'm gonna bank on the 7 out. So I'm gonna go.
I had
don't pass. I'm gonna lay the 4-10 for protection. Then I can just pound it, but I want the 7. Yeah. Everyone's gonna be cheering like they're gonna be crying like, oh, 7 out. But I'm inside. I'm gonna be yes, but. I see more cold tables than hot tables, and you just have to go to the table and read the tables. First I go to the pit boss. I go up or down. He tells me if the table is hot or cold. I look at people's racks. If they have a lot of long racks, that means there's a lot of passes. If I see a lot of short racks, it's a cold table, so I'm gonna pound the don't. But if I see long racks and everyone's happy, I'd be foolish to go on the dark side. I'm going to go on the light side, right? So every single table and every situation is different. And I'm just going to feel out the table and go with the flow. And no, I didn't mean that, John, but, I just want to make some money. So
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, you just have to read the table and be adaptive to the current situation of the table.
All right, let's go over to Joe. Joe, what is your favorite one? And by the way, let me premise this with this. Brian from Hawaii Craps Shooters also asked the question that goes to the panel is what's your why to why you play the game of craps? So maybe we can include this in both of these. And I see that I've lost the feed there. I'll bring that back up here in just 1 second. So let's go over to Joe. Joe.
So my favorite strategy when I walk up the table is actually John's horseman strategy. I have, you know, it depends on the bet level and how I play it out. But it gives me a good opportunity to see what's going on at the table, how it's hot, cold, whatever. One of my newer favorite strategies is Chris's D-John triple threat strategy. A lot of fun. You can make some decent money with it. Keeps you at the table. Gets you to the break-even point pretty fast. And then Brian, I'll take $100 chip also. I also like the quarter pound with ease. I don't play that one as often in the casino simply because my bet levels are a little bit lower. I'm a lot like you know, I'm not a big bettor at first. If I'm up, I'll start increasing the bets. But and then I also like Jacob from Wager Week. He plays a lot of the, you know, get to the free roll within 3 rolls and use the profit to mid press and even do some full presses, you know, as the dice roll goes on. So that's kind of my style. I like to do a lot of hybrid and kind of transitioning towards the light side a little bit. In Green Bay, it seems like there's quite a few decent rollers, especially during the come-outs. I see a lot of 7s on a come-out roll, which if I'm playing the hybrid, that really kills my my don't pass bet in the beginning. So kind of got to play it according to who's at the table and how they're rolling. So.
All right. Let's move on to the next panelist here, and that'd be Chris, Dice Degen.
Yeah, so when I play at the casino, if I'm shooting, you'll never see me bet the dark side if I'm shooting. I like to think I have confidence in myself as a shooter. So I do play the lights out on myself. As for other shooters, at my local, I do know quite a few people. So if I see them at the table and I know they're a decent shooter, I will play the lights out on them. Randoms, it depends. What I usually do when I go is there's usually a wait at the table, especially in Philly, with a lot of there's usually not many tables open at the casinos for some reason, and there's a wait. So I usually just observe all the tables at once, kind of see what's happening at the table, see who's rolling well, who's not rolling well. Like Kevin said, I like to look at chip stacks as well to see kind of how people are doing with that. And then kind of change my approach from there. I don't have like a set strategy in mind that I go to the casino with, unless, again, like I said, I'm shooting. If I am shooting, I usually play the D-Gen triple threat, get my 3 hits, and then hopefully go from there. But on other shooters, it's usually a mix between light side, dark side. More recently, I've been leaning more dark side on random rollers, but it kind of depends on the table conditions. So as quite a few people said, I kind of follow the trends of the table. And then my why I started playing craps. I actually learned how to play craps in Vegas. I went to Vegas on a boys trip, and then we went to the craps table because the blackjack table we wanted to play at was full. Went to the craps table, met a gentleman there who kind of gave us a quick overview of how to play craps. Me and my 2 buddies who were there had no clue what a craps table even was. So he was kind of giving us some pointers. And then he went on like a roll for an hour. And then he made us some money. After that, we colored up, we left, went to dinner, went out to the club. And then that night, I watched craps videos on YouTube for about 4 hours, didn't sleep at all, went back down to the casino the next morning at like 7 a.m. and kind of just started from there. And then, so that's why I started playing craps. And then quickly why I started my channel, actually, because I feel like a lot of younger people at the craps tables are very inexperienced and don't have a good concept of what they should be doing. And I know there's a bad stereotype about my generation with not listening to people. So sometimes I like to think that maybe they'll listen to someone of their own age or close in age rather than listening to those who've been playing the game of craps for a long time, which they should be listening to, but they don't. So that's kind of why I created my channel in the first place, was to draw like the younger audience in to the game of craps and teach them some of the fundamentals, teach them bankroll management, things like that. and then kind of help them to understand that maybe they should be listening to some other people who have been doing this for years, who have a lot of knowledge on the game of craps. I don't consider myself very knowledgeable on the game of craps. I know quite a bit, but I'm not going to consider myself very knowledgeable on it. So I like to pass along what I have to say, but then most of that's coming from, other people, things that I've learned while I'm playing, things like that. So that's kind of my strategies, the why I play craps, and then even why I have my channel in the first place.
Great. Rocky, you're muted. If you'd like to add into, what is your favorite strategy, why you play, and the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm a lot like Joe. I like to start when I walk up to a table with the horseman or just a low dollar 6, 7, 8 strategy, just to see how the table's going. And then if I see the table's, pretty hot, even semi-hot, I like to go to the regression type strategy. I like to either try to get 2 hits and be playing with the profits, or if the table's a little bit hotter, I might go up to 3, but usually I stay with 2 hits and then reduce down where I'm already in profit, and then I usually half press from there. I don't really ever play the just complete dark side. I'm more of a either light side player or a hybrid player. I like the Wayland's 4 and 10 with the don't pass. I've never got to try that in the casino yet, but I've tried it on my table and I really like that one. The reason I play craps is it's just, to me, it's the most exciting game in the casino. That's where you hear all the noise. I'm kind of a social party type guy, even though I'm in my 40s. I still like to have fun. I like to meet people. I like to talk to people. And that's where you see a lot of conversation go on. And you don't really see that at blackjack or any of those other type casino games. I can't stand slot machines, but yeah, that's why I play craps. And I mean, it's because you can play so many different types of strategies. I mean, in blackjack, I mean, it's all right. Did you beat him? Did you get to 21, or did you get closest to 21? I mean, I know there's different betting strategies, and I know there's some different strategies you can play in blackjack, but to me, craps just has a lot more strategies, and it makes you think a little bit. So,
a strategy is multiple things, right? A strategy is how much you're betting, what you're betting on, right? In blackjack, you can only bet on one thing, right? You can't spread your money around like you can in craps. That's what makes craps so much different than every other game in the casino, besides roulette, probably.
I agree, John. I was thinking the same thing too.
That's what I like about craps is, there's light side, dark side. There's some people I see that play and all they do is play the center action, which, I mean, that takes guts in my opinion. I hate the one roll bets, but I still do them from time to time. But I mean, there's people that's all they play. They get their $10 minimum or whatever the minimum is on the pass line, and then they're center action. And man, when they're hitting, they make a lot of money. But I stay mostly, on the box numbers and that side of the table. But just a great game, great community.
Hey, really quick, guys, I wanted to say thanks for including me. I'm going to scoot up, but I'm going to watch the comments on the chat and everything. But hey, good luck with everybody at the tables. Good luck to Dylan in hospital. I hope everything goes very well for him. Prayers and thoughts are all going out for him. So thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you.
Man. Thank you, Joe.
All right.
Appreciate you coming
Joe.
on.
Have a good one.
Welcome back anytime. Anybody out there wants to join, the description is in the link below if you would like to join. So real quick, I'm going to follow this question up with a comment. that Waylon put out just a few minutes ago when we first started talking about it. And the comment is on the screen. Sometimes at home you can't see that, but it's this is talking about, you know, strategies and what we like. And he put out there, it's the best to have a strategy for every table condition. He has about 600 of them. And as we all know, Waylon has put out some videos, and he probably does have 600. I coined a phrase a while back. Waylon's book, the book of, now I forgot what I called it. The book of Waylon.
The book of Waylon.
Yeah, that's what I call it. The book of Waylon. And he actually, on one time on his show, he had this wire-bound book, and he had it out there, and he was showing them all kinds of strategies. But Waylon certainly does have some strategies. So I'm going to follow that up with this question too that was just put out there. Somebody asked me how to get your name on the scrolling banner at the bottom. It's very, very simple. California Craps Club. You probably should shoot me an email to remind me, because I just noticed a couple typos that were in there. We added Chris on the fly last week when somebody was talking. Chris from Dice Degen, I added him on the fly. I'll do that with yours as well. But all you need to do is send me an email at jeff@midatlanticcraps.com to remind me. I'm going to try to get it in there scrolling before the show is over while somebody's talking. But basically, that's all it takes is we got to know. There's so many craps channels that are out there. There's some that probably you see scrolling here at the bottom that we don't even, you know, see and look at from time to time. Of course, I've got some good ones coming up right now on the screen. There are some ones that you may not know about. The Dice Setters guy that scrolled across the bottom, I actually reached out to him. I think his name is Jeff as well. He put out a really good April Fool's video this week on Friday. If you didn't watch it, he says they incorporated pool cue balls in with craps now. It was a really good bit with that said. So let's move on to our next question here. I'm not taking these in any specific form or fashion. Let's see here. Let's go to Dice Emotions.
That last question, Jeff. Can you put my channel name in the banner down there?
Yeah, I can.
Hey, it sounds like old Buckeye Slim might have an announcement to make.
Yeah. I'm actually announcing the launch of the channel today. The 300 Plus Club is officially up on YouTube. I got some content up, just a couple of videos for beginners right now. I got some strategy videos coming for you more experienced players in the near future. But the same channel that I'm typing under in the chat, the 300 Plus Club, that's the channel that I'm going to be putting my content out on. My other channel is just going to remain my personal channel for when I'm communicating with you guys.
Let me see. I got to go over and see that. Where did you already put that in there? I might have missed it.
Yep.
I'm typing in the chat. Hold on.
All right. Well, as soon as you put it in the chat, I'll put it up on the screen, and I will add that to it as well. Buckeye, there's no problem with that. So we're going to go on and to the next question that we have here, and I'm taking these in no specific order, guys. I know it's probably the last question, one of the last questions that was asked when I'm trying to do this as we go along. And this question comes from Dice Emotion. Do you play every shooter or wait for the comeback to you? I'm going to start this one out real quick, guys. You know, in most places you have to play before you shoot, so obviously you're going to shoot on the shooter before you. So I'm going to say that typically I play almost every player. I might just play the 6 and the 8. I might just play the 6, 7, 8. With that said, we'll go ahead and Buckeye, you still have the spotlight there. Go ahead and tell us what you do. Do you play on every shooter, or do you wait for to get back to you?
It depends on the situation I'm in. If I'm going to the casino and I know I'm gonna be there for 2 or 3 or 4 or 8 hours, then I'm probably gonna let the dice go around a couple times. I might start out with something simple like a couple of dollar hot bets or something like that. I got a hot bet strategy that I use for $11 that I'll run that a couple of times on a shooter just to see if they hit it. Then I'll let the dice go around, and whoever had the nicest roll, I'll go ahead and make a small investment on them to see if they can actually get hot. If the table's been cold, I'll usually wait for the dice to get to me, and I'll take my first shot at it before I do anything else. But if I know I'm just going in the casino, I got an hour, I got 45 minutes, I got an hour and a half, then I'm probably going to bet on every shooter. I'm just going to bet small at first until somebody wins me some money and actually gets the ball rolling. So that by the time the dice can go to me, even though my wrist isn't warmed up, my energy is warmed up because I've been involved in the game for a while. So whether I've been winning or losing, I got a flow going now, so I can go ahead and get going for this little short amount of time I got left. But if I'm in Vegas or if I'm going down here to, you know, have some fun with friends and we're going to be here a few hours, then yeah, I let the dice move around a little bit.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to, let me get back over to my Zoom screen here. And let's take that question to, let's see, Vince. Let's ask Vince if he's there. He may be sitting down in the background there. Vince, do you play on every
Vince
shooter?
coming out
or do you
working
just
on
play
every
yourself?
shooter.
Yeah.
Always working. Never turn your bets off. Never turn your bets off.
All right.
Vince, buddy, that was kind of rough with skill the other night, man. You was bobbing when you should have been weaving.
I got outplayed. I could have took them.
No, that was just some bad rolls, man. You didn't play bad. That was just some bad rolls.
Jeff is here. He's the one that was rolling.
Hey, look, you know, I just rolled the dice.
He said he was doing random when he was really throwing control.
Yeah. Hey, if you know me, I can't control any. Although Buckeye on Saturday night, I did a show and had George from CY come on, and he actually helped me set the dice. And I know there's a couple people that were in the chat that day that didn't believe in it, but I was surprised. I had a 32 roller, an 18 roller, and an 11 roller with George helping me roll the dice. It could have been beginner's luck, but he was telling me how my dice were landing and where they were going, and he made the adjustment with the dice set, and it just impressed the heck out of me. With that said, there's also if you look at your screen, I don't know if you can see that or not. Brian from Y Craps Shooter said to you, Buckeye, you are one classy dude. Always good to see you in his chat. So I'm trying to
do say that. Thank you so much, Brian. I really appreciate that. I cannot wait to shoot with you guys at a table one day. Y'all look like so much fun to just be around. I cannot wait to feel that aloha spirit in person.
No shit, dude.
Hey, so Buckeye, Brian owes you a black chip too now. He owes me a black chip.
That's all right. He'll win it for me on his roll. I'm going to do what I did earlier. I'm going to go YOLO and just go all in on one hit. And you're going to roll me a box number.
Hey,
yeah, he'll give it to you Hawaii Crap Shooter Hawaiian style, man.
I've YOLO'd 5 days in a row and made money. It can happen.
That's true. He did. You did last week.
I know, right? 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
5 days in a row.
Buckeye, Joe from Craps Master Journeys in the chat. He was on with us a little while ago. I still haven't seen it come up in the chat about your channel. He wants to know what your channel name is. So as soon as you get it on there, I'll also
300 Plus Club.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Hey, thank you. So Suzanne,
it's the account that I've been commenting under.
Yep. And I want to put this one up here because I'm going to toot my own horn. Dice Doctor was watching the other day. He thought that was awesome with what I did with George from CY. All right, let's go over to, let's see, the question. I even forgot what the question was, guys. I got to go back and look at it.
Somebody do we let the dice go around or do we bet on every shooter? And it was Vince was up to answer. But we know what Vince is doing.
Yeah, there's the question. So let's go down to Dice DGen and ask him.
I pick and choose sometimes. I kind of go with, I guess, how long I have at the casino. If I see somebody, like I said, though, I usually watch the table while I'm waiting to get onto the table. So if I see somebody have like a long roll and then maybe like a short roll, I'll avoid because I don't know what they're going to do on the next one. But if I see somebody with, choppy rolls all the time, I'll bet on them, bet on the dark side. I do play like a 6, 7, 8 a lot on people that I don't know or I don't see shooting well, just to maybe hope they hit that 6, 8, and then if they do 7 out, then we're covered there too. But I typically do not bet on every shooter all the way around. Sometimes I will, but for the most part, there's usually somebody that I'll just stand and watch. And sometimes it's bit me, sometimes it's been a long roll, but sometimes, it's saved me. So kind of depends on who's at the tables, but I would say for the most part, I do sit out on at least 1 or 2 people around for the most part.
All right. Kevin, how about you, my friend?
So I changed my shirt in honor of Dylan. He always sits back like this with his lower shirt. So, I changed my threads. But, I think throwing in a group has a lot of importance because with the Hawaii crap shooters, we know each other. We know each other's personality, their style, what they're good at, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. So if you know each other and the personality and the positive vibe at the table, you will do well. But if you don't know random rollers like that, you can just wait and see, do the 3 count, the 5 count. But you just have to feel the table and see how it goes around. The dice can go around the table very fast. That's a very cold table. Bet that don't pass. But I like to roll with people that I know and I know their strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, so that's how I roll.
All right. Fixing the technical difficulty we got here, guys. So I'm going to go on to Rocky. Rocky, if you want to comment on that while I fix the Zoom screen.
Yeah, I try to stay involved on every shooter, and I'll give you a great example why. As most of you know, I play on AZ channel about every time he has a live. The other night, he rolled like 25 times out of the damn Yahtzee Cup, which I can't stand. But I mean, so I try to stay involved because you never know when somebody's going to get on a hot roll, and if you're not prepared, a lot of us, if we don't get in on the shooter when it starts, we don't like to jump in and start betting. So I like to at least have some bets out there on every shooter. They may be small, but that way I'm set up to go if he or she gets hot. So I try to stay on every shooter.
All right. Is there anybody left in the chat? John, you want to comment on that? Why before I go to the next the next question?
Sure. I mean, I've got no choice. So in Washington, we have to bet. At least the casinos that I go to, you have to bet on every shooter. If you don't bet, you're not playing. Like they'll actually, because we have a waiting list for every table. There's one table open most of the time. They're $5 tables. And so you walk into the casino no matter what time. Tomorrow I'm going to go at 6 a.m. before our show, and I will have to sign in and wait for a spot to open up. So I get what I get, and to be on the table, you have to bet every shooter. So I don't have a choice. That's why the Horseman for me is the go-to, because it lets me survive, until one person decides to be a good shooter. And so that's my walk-up strategy, and that's the reason why, because I have to play every shooter. Now, when I go to AC with you all, or in Vegas, and I don't have to shoot or bet on every shooter, I may change my mind. But right now, I'm just so used to it. I just walk in with a bigger bankroll to make sure I can handle that situation.
All right. All right. I'm going to back up now to the next question. It's going to go back almost a half hour, maybe 40 minutes ago. I'm going to put this out here because I respect Greg's opinion. I don't know if he's still with us. I haven't seen a recent chat now, but this is just a comment going out there. Just so you can see it. We were talking earlier about YouTube content providers, and I'm glad that Buckeye's coming out with his. Looks like Jay's coming out with a channel. Of course, Chris is new here. Some of those older channels, like El Toro was in the chat earlier with us. He's been out there a very long time. But Greg's question is more of the content of a comment is that Chris and Dice DGen and Chris from Sideshow Gramble, they're both named Chris, are two of the most exciting newer channels out there. And he says, outstanding guys, and I say the same thing. So keep up the good work. I mean, the way I look at it, the more the merrier. And I forgot the saying from last week, John, something about the ships and the whatever that saying was.
Rising tide raises all boats. That's what it is.
There you go. Yep, that's it. So let me switch over. Let's go back to another question here. Let's see here. Here's a good question since we're on the part of YouTube content providers. This comes from Joe Ramus. I wonder if you can get some of the original Craps channel makers, the content providers, on the chat as well, like Dangerous Arm Craps and Bone Thrower plus 36 Press. I actually reached out to 36 Press at one point here recently. I am not familiar with the Dangerous Arms Craps, but somebody said Bone Thrower put something new out recently. John, do you have any comments about that?
Bone Thrower, I've talked to a few times, but he's all Patreon, right? So him, you can watch him over there, and he's an interesting cat. He's very private guy, believe it or not. Dak, I've never met personally from 36 Full Press, although I think he'd be a fun guy to talk to. I haven't been able to reach to him at all. I've tried.
I tried too. Yeah, I did as well. All right. So we got rid of that question. Let me just see what else we have. You can notice, guys, that I put the people that wanted their names in there. I've added it to it. One of them's capital letters, and I think I may have done it wrong. So as it scrolls across there, Buckeye, make sure I have it right. And Jay, make sure I have yours right as well. I can do that on the fly here. So let's go. Let's go ahead and go to a question here.
Did Jay launch his channel, Jeff?
I'm sorry, whose channel?
Did Jay launch a channel as well? I didn't see that.
No, he's. I have to go back to the other
Is
side.
He about
he's
to?
Launching. He's about to, and
that's awesome. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I love
here it is. I'm gonna put it up there on the chat right now.
Right.
There it is. This is Matt. My channel with the interim banner up yesterday is called Bones Jones, and I don't know if that's a copyright. If there's a JAR 709, so Bones Jones. Jay, let me know if that's the whole title name, because I'll go out and like and subscribe. Everybody here today watching, go out and like and subscribe to Buckeyes and Bones Jones. And there was another new one that we just talked about that kind of slipped my mind at the moment. So with that said, let's find another question. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
That's awesome, Jeff. By the way, I just want to say that's awesome, because I've been here about a year now, roughly, and Buckeye's been on, I think, every single show. Dice, Duracell's been on every single show, right, with us. Jay has been on almost every single show, always commenting. And now that we're seeing channels come up, and I get emails from everybody like you do, I'm sure, run the strategy, try this thing. And it's awesome to see the shows launching, to see their channels coming out. This is fantastic. I knew Buckeye was doing a channel. I didn't say anything, of course, but that Jay's doing one, that's even cooler. I mean, how great is this? We have 2 new channels launching this week.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
That sounds really good.
That's just, we're just, the community is growing so much bigger. That's just great. Love it.
Yep. And you can see, I saw that followed up that Duracell commented on Joe Ramus, as he said that it's open to invite, and that there are all bone throwers on Patreon. So I actually missed that when we were going through that chat side of that. So let's see.
And Bone Thrower, by the way, if you want to talk to him, he's great. Bone Thrower will write you back. I'm a member of his Patreon. I'm actually paying more money per month to like Patreon, Bone Thrower, and Sin City, and Big AZ, and everybody. And Bone Thrower writes you back. Drop him a note, he'll write you right back. He's a great guy, really good guy. I just think he doesn't want to be out in the public eye.
All right. Guys, if you have a question, put a Q in front of it. If you have a question for one of the panelists or a comment, put a C for comment, Q, a capital Q, so I can pick up on that and we can move on. We're going an hour and 45 minutes into the show, and it just doesn't seem like the same without dialing here. And I'm going to go ahead and put that plug out there for Big AZ. He's going to be in October. He's going to be back in Vegas, I should say, in October 2nd through the 7th. Big AZ is probably... I would say when I got into watching the YouTube content providers, Big AZ, Color Up, Jeremy, Wager Me This, El Toro's channel, a couple of the other ones that I regularly watch, and I try to support as many as I can. Big AZ, there's your plug for you. And hopefully, Big AZ, as I told you, I am retired now, as officially this past week. And I'm not going to say I have a lot of time on my hands, and I don't have deep pockets, but I am coming to Vegas, and I'm going to try to make it. I can't come in June for DiceCon, so I'm going to try to plan a fall schedule, Big AZ, and I look forward to really meeting you. You've been really nice to me, and I appreciate everything you do for the CRAPS community. So with that said, let's go to a question here. Hey, I didn't see Ed from Roll to Win was in the chat. Ed, how are you doing tonight? My good friend Ed. You should go watch my show last night, Ed. It was a live stream. I had George from CY come on, and I worked through your help with me from launching from the deck and his help with the way my dice were falling. I had several good rolls, including the 32 roller. And by the way, Ed, with East Coast Craps yesterday, I had a 22 roller. I always like to keep Ed up to date because he highlighted me on one of his shows where he tried to tell me what the heck I was doing wrong. All right, let's go on to another question here. Let's see here. I can't read this one because it's too small in the fine print, so I have to put it up here. This question comes from Joe Ramus again. Is it better Who's this supposed to say? Is it better when you get to the table to look at the chip racks to see how the table is doing, or if you know the thrower there, walk up to him and ask that person how the table is doing? I do number 2. I actually colored up yesterday, turned around, there was a guy about as big as I am, a little older than I am, but he had hair. I don't have hair, by the way. There's a comment in there, John, about yours and my hair that I'm going to put up at the end of the show here. I turned around, the guy said, how was the table? And, you know, I had colored up a $297 win, and I said, I'm up $300. And he said, okay. He took my place. I left before East Coast did. But in any event, let's go around to the panel. Vince, let's start with you. Let's hear you. You just walk up to the table and just put the 160 out and go for it?
Well, you know what? He's got a point. That question is a very strong point because it was Buckeye Slim that also mentioned that as well. Here in the Fallsview Casino, I mean, we get a lot of millionaires in the fall. It's tourist town. And there's a guy that comes in and hangs out in the VIP lounge that always has $250,000 on his rack. And when you go in there, you kind of look at the table first. You're always eyeballing the table. But then you see this guy with all these chips. And it turns your focus away from the rest of the table. You're just running through your head. What is this guy betting to have all those chips there? And it's true. Believe it or not, when you look at the chip rail, it kind of tells you what to expect at the table. If you see a lot of people there with just nickels and dollar chips in their rail, I think it's better to go take a walk and maybe play a slot machine. But when you do see a lot of chips in those rails, get your feet wet. Put that 160 out, because 3 rolls, 3 hits of the dice, you're making your money back. You know what I mean?
Nope. No, good point. Very good point. To the next panelist, to the question. I'm doing a couple things here, guys. Watching the questions come in. Let's go to Buckeye. You answer that question. It's on the screen again.
I'm sorry. What was the question again?
Okay. Yeah. It says when you walk up to the table, do you look? Question. Yeah. When you walk up to the table, do you look at the chip racks, or do you ask somebody how the table's going? Which one do you do?
I do a little bit of both. It depends on how many people are at the table. If we got a full table, I can probably just walk up and look up at the chip rack, and it'll kind of tell a story. The fact that the table is still full tells one story. But then I look at the amount of chips people have in front of them, and it tells another one. Within 5 minutes, I can know if this is a hot table or a cold table. Really not even 5 minutes. I can watch how people are betting and look at what they have in front of them, and I can know if they've been winning or if they're trying to chase their losses. But if there's only 1 or 2 people at the table, then yeah, I'll walk up and ask them, you know, hey, how's the table been treating you? You know, an interesting story about that, my last trip to Vegas, it was the end of my night. I was dead tired. I was getting ready to go up to my room, and I had gotten whooped on the roulette table yet again. So I walked over to the craps table, and there was a guy standing there. I asked him, like, how the dice been treating? He was like, it was all right for a minute. Then it just got cold all of a sudden. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see if we can warm it back up. So I bought in, and I bet on the 6 and 8 while he was shooting. He rolled a couple of them for me, and I got spread across to 96 across. And he rolled a couple more numbers and 7 out. After that, it was just me and him at the table. He walked away for a second. I guess he went to hit the ATM or something, because he came right back. But I went on like a 25-minute roll. And all he could say was, dang, man, I knew I should have got in on some of that money a little sooner. I was like, well, that's all right. We'll get it back going again. He took the dice, rolled them for a minute, hit a few numbers, 7 out. I got back on, rolled a few numbers, 7 out. By the time I looked up, I was up from $40 to $400 out of nowhere. Like I didn't even notice my chip rack climbing up that much. If somebody had walked up to the table at that moment, they wouldn't need to ask too many questions. It's a $10 table. I got $400 in front of me. It's probably been a good table. But, you know, it depends on the situation. You know, if I walk up and the table is full, I don't really have to ask too much. I can let the table tell the story. But if it's just a few people there, then I'll get a little input from them.
All right. Let's go on to Kevin, you raise your hand, or were you just getting ready to walk outside and show us the sunset again?
Well, the sun is not setting yet. I don't want to rub it in, you know. It's kind of overcast today. But
did you?
When I walk up to the table, you know, you look at the energy of the table, you look at the chip rack, you see people laughing, high-fiving. Naturally, it's a hot table, right? And I just try to feel the heartbeat of the table and the energy, more positive energy, more positive money you're going to make. If the guys are all down and out, 7 out, they're looking down, you know, bad energy, you know, don't play. So just follow the heartbeat of the table and, you know, you'll do well.
All right. Let's go on. Chris, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I pretty much echo what everyone said. I did say I look at the chip racks when I pull up to the table, and then I have to wait usually to get on the table, so I can usually gauge how it's going. I do look at the chip racks, but kind of going with what Vince said, like if there's a lot of nickels and like singles, that'll tell me one thing. You can never really know how much somebody bought in for. So I find that sometimes hard to see at tables because somebody may have bought in with $100 and they're up to 1,000, but somebody may have bought in with 20,000, they're down to $100. So kind of hard to tell sometimes that way. But I do know, like my local, I know a lot of the dealers. So when I get there, they'll usually like look at me and give me like a head nod or something, tell me if it's good or if it's bad, or they'll like look at a table and like that one's better because they've been standing there for a while, and they can kind of gauge which way tables are going. So I usually look at the dealers. I will look at chip stacks occasionally, and then like I said, I have to wait to get on the table usually anyway. So I can kind of gauge how the tables are playing that way, and then I'll kind of wait for the better table to get onto.
Okay. All right. Who haven't we talked to yet on this question? Rocky, do you have any comments on that question?
Yeah, I strictly watch a table for a good 10 or 15 minutes before I get on. Like they said about the chip rail, I mean, you never know. You never know what they bought in for, so that doesn't always tell the story. And you can tell real quick if you're watching a table and you got a lot of high-fiving going on. That usually means you got a pretty hot table. People are not high-fiving over $5 wins, so
depends on the table.
All right. Yep. John, do you have any comments on that question?
Yeah, well, like I said, for me, like Greg made allusion to this in the chat, but in my casinos, because I have to wait to get on, whenever I get a spot on a table, it means somebody just got their ass kicked. So I don't get a spot until somebody loses their whole bankroll. So I always walk into somebody's grave. But honestly, I look at the end, look at the hooks, right? If you look at the hooks of the table, if you see a bunch of old guys at the hooks with a stack of black chips, it's a cold ass table. That's what you see, right? The old farts in the end with black chips, they're betting dark and they're winning money and it's good. If I see a bunch of reds and greens, like a bunch of reds and greens on somebody's rack, they're winning 15 for one, 35 hours at a time, and they're doing okay. You know what it's doing. You're getting some inside hits there. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. I play the horseman. When I walk up, that wins on the dark side. It wins on the light side. I don't give a shit. I win on both sides. So I don't care what the table's doing. It's a matter of where am I putting my money at a given moment. And I can go either way with what it says, but I can tell the general sense of the table by looking at who's got what money. And if I see reds and greens or if I see blacks, I know what's happening.
All right. I put Greg's comment up there for you too, John. John says he gets a spot when some poor slob goes bankrupt.
100%.
All right. Hey, guys.
When I get the text, that means somebody just lost. Every time. I get a text message, your spot is open, Mr. Kokas. Cool. I walk up and somebody's pissed off and walking away with like $8. I'm like, great. I'll take your spot.
Yeah, you never get that guy that's walking away coloring up 1,600 or nothing like that.
Never. It's always the guy's got like 4 chips, and I'm like, all right, thanks. 2,500 don't. And let's see what happens.
Right. Wellen brings up a good point in the chat. And as I'm reading over here, it's helpful to, you know, read the chip rail or ask somebody how the dice have been going. But at the end of the day, you got to be flexible. You got to be able to adjust whatever's actually happening in the moment. Because unfortunately, we don't get to bet on the previous rolls of the dice. We got to bet on the ones that are coming. We got to bet on what's happening right now. Yeah. So being able to be flexible and being able to switch it up at any given moment and follow the flow of the table is also very important.
Yep. Yeah, when you go at 160 across, so you can't adjust from 160 across, but I can adjust from a 6, 7, 8. Right. If I'm on a don't with a 6 and 8, I can make an adjustment mid-roll. If I'm 160 across, my pants are down and I got what I got. Right. And that's the difference in the way that you approach it, especially when you're first walking up. But you got to have a way that you can kind of bob and weave as you need. That's my personal opinion.
Right.
All right.
Like even being 160 across, something like the Butterbird would be an adjustment. Because 9 times out of 10, if you went 160 across, you wasn't planning on pulling nothing down. But if the table's been cold, might be a good idea to take a hit and pull that bet down, and take another hit and pull that bet down. You know, any kind of adjustment that allows you to protect yourself from losses is a good way to stay flexible, because it keeps you in the game long enough to catch that hot roll.
Yep. Hey, John, there's a follow-up comment that I just put up on the screen from Dice Emotion. He wants to know, how long will you wait for a spot, and how do you kill time while you're waiting?
I will wait for hours. I don't care. Like, I drive 15 minutes. I'll wait for an hour at least. And most of the time, I'll just go watch TV. They have a nice lounge at my casino, and I'll get a whiskey, and I'll sit there and I'll watch TV and wait. It's all good. Or I'll watch my YouTube channel from the little, you know, the comfy chairs, and wait for my spot. You know, it isn't like I'm staying there for the weekend. I drive up in the morning and I wait. I know I'm gonna have to wait when I get there, so I kind of plan for that, and that's my catch-up time.
All right. Real quick, guys, we're going into the 2 o'clock hour for some of the. I saw that Sue's just jumping out there. I put her out there. I want to put this up here again, real quick. Once again, guys, if you didn't see earlier, Skill is not my co-host today. Remember, he's the creator of the show. It was his idea. Skill had a medical emergency today. He's in the hospital in ICU. He's stable as of right before we went on the broadcast here. And John graciously stepped up. Remember, guys, we're keeping Skill and Joy in our prayers tonight. So we'll go ahead and move back to that. And I think there was another question that came in. I'm going to put this up here right now. You can see that Greg and Dan Tana are communicating, because Greg just said in a question, Dan Tana called me. He's at the CRAPS channel right now. So we're going to move on to this next question. And I'm going to go ahead and put this up here, and we'll see how the panel attaches it, and it may be some comments in the chat text there. Once again, Dice Emotion for the channel providers. This is for us channel providers. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us on here, and probably another 5 or 10 in the group here. So for the channel content providers at home, please type in your comments on this too. I'll try to put some of them up there. So he wants to know, how do we handle the negative people, and do we get feedback from? So first of all, I'm going to start off with this one. I get feedback all the time, and usually it's because I've made a mistake, and I'm quick to say that I make mistakes. I'm only human. If you've ever done a live rollout, especially if you watched John this week and you watched me the other night, it's difficult. And when you're recording them, it's difficult to pick up on every mistake. And I do my recordings are always done live, unedited. I record live. Doesn't make sense, but I don't edit my videos. I know there's a lot of YouTube content providers out there that do a really good thing. I just show it like it is. I get feedback, and I try to communicate with that person. I try to communicate and see what the problem is and see how I can help it. I know I've watched John's channel off and on for the past couple months, and before he goes live, he's got the dislike. And there's always one hater out there. And if the hater gets nasty with me, either in the comments, or in an email, I just stop communicating with them. But from our content providers, I think we try to do the best that we can do with what we have to work with, whether it's just a single cell phone or a setup similar to what I have here. Not doing so well with the equipment tonight, but in any event, John, let's go with you, and then we'll go around to the other ones. I'm going to check the chat.
Oh, yeah. I get so much negative feedback. It's insane. And I actually love it. And it's funny. You know, I talk to Greg at 555 a lot. He's a really, really, really good friend, probably one of my best friends in the world. And we talk about this, about embracing the feedback and embracing the negativity and kind of being out there. And I believe that the negative stuff to me is a way to kind of move forward with it, I guess. And I'll give you an example. I put a video out a few weeks ago that was like, come bets and place bets. I made this big point of like, you can play them both and it's a great thing. I got like 30 emails from people calling me every name in the book, from the math guys to the place bet guys, and you're an idiot and blah, blah, blah. You can't let that be a problem, right? And I think for me, I've learned over the years, and again, I'm kind of old, to accept the feedback for what it is. And to me, it's more things to talk about. And I think if I can embrace the negative feedback and come out, and you'll see me in the morning say, hey, so-and-so said something over the weekend, I want to address that. A, it's content for the show, which is, I guess, selfishly good. But B, it's like, if you can find a way to embrace that negativity and turn it into a positive and give people reasons to think, that's why we're here. And I think that's why I have a voice. I have a voice so that I can show what it looks like to embrace a negative comment or a positive comment and have a discussion about it. I think that to me is fantastic. Greg went out with a video today that was super controversial in some degrees, right? Some people might hate what he said today about the Chris Rock thing. That's a brave, ballsy thing to do, and it's great. And it invites that stuff. And I think we have to have more conversations about those things. I enjoy the negative feedback, but it's kind of funny. The day, was it Friday? Was it Friday or Thursday when I did the UN skill at the same time dealing?
It was Friday.
Right? Okay, so Friday. So I'm dealing, I'm announcing, I'm trying to be funny, I'm trying to get my shit right, I'm trying to figure out the rules. I get an email from somebody at minute number 37:43, you fucked up on this thing over here, and you paid the guy wrong, and your whole show is crap. Like, okay. I'm sorry that I ruined the internet for you today, but that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? So to me, the negative stuff is good. Buckeye and Jay and Chris, as your channels grow, and Vince, I know you know this with 3,500 subscribers, you're going to get the negative stuff. It's just got to bounce off, frankly, and there's truth in all of it, right? There are things you've done wrong. You got to address that, and I think if you go out there boldly and own it and move forward, I think the negativism is a good thing. But it's kind of funny what people focus on. It's actually kind of silly. Some of the things that people focus on. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, with that said, John, you and I had this conversation after 2 weeks ago's Crap Chat, and then I'm going to go through the panel. Guys, I had a schedule of events that I put up on my schedule last 2 weeks ago, and I got 2 comments, not just one, but 2 comments, and some of them didn't like the fact that I put up some paid for profit to channels. Look, guys, I didn't have time to adjust the schedule today. Otherwise, I would have it up there. I was too concerned trying to communicate back and forth with Joy over dial-in to put it up there. But the way John worded it to me, because I actually said, John, what do you think about this? The person said, why are you putting up that channel's content when they're crap, if you will? And, they charge for that. And I think John worded it the best way, and correct me if I'm wrong when I say this, John. You said, we're here to provide a service, both sides, either side, and all sides, and we want to be, I don't want to say fair and balanced, but we want to be fair to everybody, including the new YouTube contenters. And if you look what Jay puts on your screen there, I think that's an excellent comment from Jay. He says he's inexperienced as a content provider. Just be yourself, be you, and show mercy when you can and move on. And that's exactly what I do, Jay. It is exactly what I do. All right, so with that, let's go to Vince. You've got the longest running channel of the panelists here. How do you deal with it? Because I know you got to get some hate mail.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why I advertise my email address on my channel. I say, you know what? It's too easy for a content provider to delete or hide the bad notifications. But like John says, we learn from it. We learn from that negative stuff. It's what makes our channel grow. And I always promote, if you got any good or bad negative, yo, Vinny, that strategy sucks. Just send me an email, vincearmenti@gmail.com. I always advertise it, and I get so much negative stuff. And then I get negative stuff like John said. I get emails saying, like, why you guys always promote other people's channels? I watch those channels. They're crap. And it's like, you'd be surprised what you learn from those channels. Even the crappiest of crappiest channels, the most boring ones, you actually learn from them. But you gotta, like John said, you gotta embrace the negative feedback as a content provider, especially to the new guys out there. You're gonna get the negative stuff. You gotta embrace it and learn from it. I mean, I get into major arguments. I get into a lot of arguments with a lot of people.
The funny
even
ones,
at the tables.
The funny ones, Vince, are those guys that are like the you got to bet the pass line with max odds versus the place bet guys. They get this big like weird. You'll get the hate mail from both sides of that, depending on what show you do. Which is hysterical.
You get it from everybody. You get it from all angles. From all angles. Just you got to keep it neutral. Keep it unbiased. I do call out a lot of people on certain things, and it gets me into trouble. And it happens at the casinos too.
Me too.
You the best friend around the whole table, but you roll a 0.7 out, you're like the worst enemy. Instant.
Yeah. Well, the thing I've learned, Vince, and I'm sure you have done this too. So when the guys get negative on me on the channel, and it's mostly if I'm doing like a how to press your bets a week on the show, then I get all the the house edge guys come in, and I get all these crazy emails and angry stuff. But I've had some email strings with people, and I'm not going to name their names, but I've had email strings, private emails with folks that are like, master's degree in math, trying to educate me on CRAPS, whatever. It's been fantastic. Like, I call these guys friends now, and they may not like how I talk about on the channel strategy wise, but I've made some really good friends by opening up and being, okay, what about me do you hate so much? Or what is it that I've got wrong? And these guys will email you, and it's been fantastic to open up to that. So embrace that. You got it. You're going to get it. And I don't always do pass line with max odds, but I understand the guys that want to play that way. And I've had some really interesting math formulas going back and forth. And it's actually been educational. So I'm all about it. When I was Chris's age, Chris DGen, when I was young and living in Philly and F everybody, we might not have had as good a conversation as I've had with these guys now. Now I'm old, right? I'm having way better conversations than I used to have. Anyway, it's cool. It's all good. And Waylon's a good example. Waylon, he does the ladder thing, and that can be off-putting to some people. I'm sure Waylon gets a ton of shitty email from people. How, you're dangerous. You're going to get people bankrupt. The ladder's, scary. Waylon, I'm sure, gets more negative feedback than we all get because of how he plays. And I know that he's a professional about dealing with that. And I think it's made him better. And I think it's made his people better.
All right. Let's see. I just got a comment come in here from El Toro. Let's see what this one says so I can read it. He gets a good. He gets both type. He gets both types of criticism. That's how we develop. I think that's a very good point, El Toro. You're right. It's how we grow and learn. And John, you probably agree with me, and probably most of the content providers in there. When you're running your channel and you're doing this on a daily basis, it actually makes you a better player, and it makes you a better understanding of the game. And, we always know there's so many moves in this game. And I know there was a question put in a couple of weeks ago, John, that we never got back to about the put bet, but that's for another topic. But, we learn things. And, I've had people ask me questions, and but I think the way that El Toro puts that, it's rude. If it's really
just don't be rude.
People are not welcome. Yeah, exactly.
You can be negative. Exactly. You can be critical. Just don't be a dick. That's what it comes down to, right? Just be nice about it. I don't care if you're anti what I say. Just don't be rude about it. There's lots of room to not be rude.
Let's see here. There's something Waylon just put in there. Let me pull that up so I can read that as well. I've had a college degree guy ask me, hey, Waylon, can you run this strategy at the lower level? And I just shake my head. Waylon, that's why I'm here. I take your strategies. If you remember way back in October, I took your strategies and you had them way up there, and I run them at a lower level, and that's what I do because I'm a shallow pocket guy when I walk up to the table. And but Waylon, I'm sure like what they said, everybody's getting hate mail. So let's go ahead and head around the table to the panelists. Let's start. Let's see who else we have in here. We have. Let's go to you, Chris. You've got a channel. What have you experienced so far in your new journey?
I have gotten some hate already with my limited amount of subs, so experienced it. Like John said, though, I'm from Philly. I can take it. I don't really care. I do care though with like the criticism. I find it as a way to help myself and better myself. People will point out, like you missed a payment here. You did this wrong, you did that wrong, which just helps me to become a better dealer, better craps player, helps me develop things better. So I view it not really as a negative, but more as a positive. I have had negative comments from some people, not necessarily on my channel, but they will email me or like on my Instagram, they'll like DM me something. And, it's fine, whatever. The other thing with that is if you want to comment negative things on my channel, that's fine. You're just helping me in all reality, because you're adding more comments to my channel, which pushes the views and stuff. So it's another way to look at it on a positive note, I guess. But I appreciate the criticism. I also I edit my videos, but I don't edit them while I'm like doing them. They're all in pretty much one shot. So like even in my tournament, I made a huge mistake on the one of color up strategies versus mid-mo yo strategy. And someone pointed it out to me really quickly. And I pulled the video down because I didn't want people thinking that the strategy actually moved on. And then I addressed it very quickly in my next video saying, upfront and honest, I made this mistake. I didn't pull the puck off. It was a 7 on the next roll. So I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm not trying to do anything to, fix the results of this. It's just I made an error that would have a huge consequence on what happened. So I'm going to re-roll it out. I did that, and people like the honesty. So I'm pretty open and transparent with everything that I do. So I appreciate it. And then even last week when I was on here, Vince called me out on something that I said. And at the time I was like, we can agree to disagree or whatever. And then I actually watched it back and I was like, you know what, Vince was right. Like the way I worded that wasn't good. So I was like, I actually appreciate somebody calling me out on something like that. And I may not react to it at the time. I like to usually take some time, process it, think about it. And on something like this, I got to watch it back and I was like, you know what? I was like, Vince is right on this. Like what I said wasn't really worded properly. So thank you, Vince, because I know you're here. So thank you for keeping me honest on that. And I take all the criticism. There's usually, something like you paid this person out wrong, whatever, or your strategy sucks. That's fine. You can think my strategy sucks. That's just what it is. If you don't like it, you don't like it. It's something that I came up with or I'm rolling out. My most hated thing was when I did Waylon's Ultimate Inside video, right? And so like I had 3 people message me afterwards, like, who hurt you? Like, what dealer hurt you? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is like, first of all, it's not even my strategy. Second of all, like, I know it's a lot of work for the dealer, but I'm just showing you a strategy. I'm not actually saying I play this in the casino. And then they asked me like, oh, well, like, you better tip your dealer. You better not be like stingy on the tips. And I was like, all right, well, if you knew me before you came at me, you would know that whatever I'm playing, the dealers are on the exact same thing that I'm on. So when I play, the dealers are playing with me. So yes, they may have some work there, but they're also getting tipped, and then I tip them at the end. I take it as it comes. Any constructive criticism, I appreciate it. I use it for later. Luckily, I don't think I've made too many errors in dealing. I've been trying to be more thoughtful and more careful on it, especially in this challenge. It is hard. I do make mistakes. I'm not going to say I'm perfect. So I do make the mistakes. If it's there, I'll watch the video back. I'll look and see if it actually makes that much of a difference in the bankrolls for the challenge. If it does, I will address it and re-roll it out like I did with the first matchup that I did. I addressed it quickly, re-rolled it out, and then set the record straight. There's been other ones where I made an error, but in the long run, it doesn't actually matter that much. It's a matter of like $20, and there was a huge discrepancy in bankrolls anyway. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter all that much. So, I agree with what it was in the chat. I forget who said it, but constructive criticism is great. there's a fine line between being constructive criticism though and then being rude.
Yeah.
You know, there's just no need to be rude. We're, you know, all just putting out content. And like, we don't have to do it. So that's another thing that some people I think forget about sometimes too, is like, oh, like I hate this video that you did. All right, that's fine. You may hate it. Your opinion is your opinion, but I have 30 other people messaging me. I absolutely love that you put this out. So you take one, you have a bad one, you have a good one. It's just, they all balance out in the end, and you know, thick skin, like I said, Philly boy.
Well,
so
it's a hard thing.
It really hurt me.
You know, having a channel doesn't make you an expert, right? But it puts you in this weird spot, right? And it's like, yeah, I don't have to do. And when you get to 1,000, you'll realize this, and Jeff will attest to this, and I'm sure Vince will as well. 1,000 subscribers means you make, you know, $36 a month. It isn't like we're doing this for the money. We're doing it because we love doing it. And that came to the, you know, the why question from way back. It's just fun to do this stuff, and it's like I've made 50 friends from doing this. I'm all good. You know, so
I agree.
But yeah,
I agree 100%.
You get that,
and
I get that dislike every day, and it's like if that person doesn't dislike my live show before I start, I feel like I didn't do my job. Like now it's a badge of honor.
No, 100%, and like that's the thing, right? Like it's, I mean, I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it for, as I said before, to help. Again, I'm going to get hated on the comments. I already know it for calling people old, but
come on,
younger people, trying to teach them the game of craps. And even the thing is, right, I've been playing craps for 3 years. I'm 24, if anybody doesn't know this, right? I am the farthest thing from an expert, and I know it, right? There's a difference between knowing it and not knowing it and thinking you are. I know for a fact I am not. So if I can take something that somebody else said, credit them for it, mind you, and then share it with people, I think that's more beneficial than, you know, just sitting here and acting like I know everything. I know virtually nothing, all right? And yeah, I'm not doing it for money. I have a day job. I have a side job that I also do that I'm doing for fun as well. So like, I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I like the game of craps, and I want to further help people who are in my age group. Not saying that I don't appreciate those who are older who also subscribe to me, because thank you. But, you know, my goal is to help people who are more in my demographic. And if I look at my stats on my subscriptions and my viewers, I seem to be doing that pretty well. So I'm going to continue to do it and put that information out there. But again, it's for fun. That's the main thing I'm doing. It's for fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh, sorry, guys. I was looking at a text message. I apologize for that. I just want to make sure it wasn't anything about dial-in. I'm going to wrap this up with two things here with what you just said, Chris. You know, I think the other YouTube content providers, if they're looking at their analytics, you know, most of my audience is my age or just a few years younger. Most of them, well, 99% of them are male. There's only a few females. So I welcome a young YouTube content provider to the community, because what you're going to bring to us is, I don't know whose dog that is, but if you can mute your speaker, please. Thank you. Well, whoever's got the dog, if you can mute your microphone for us. I think that's Kevin. That's it. All right. That dog must want to go out. All right, I got him. Don't worry about it. So if Chris, if you are going to bring somebody into the community, that's going to expose them to all of us, and it's going to help get the other channels out there, even large channels like, you know, Vince and Jacobs and El Toro and Jeremy's. I mean, we're going to bring some young people in. I mean, I think that's great. And I'm going to wind this whole topic out by putting this message up here, and I'm going to kind of toot my own horn for a second here. Dice Emotion says, Jeff hit on it when I first started talking. Watching and hearing all of the ins and outs can help you be a smarter player. Guys, you know when I'm playing, I'm known as the voice, and I know John mentioned voice a little while ago, and Greg likes to tease me about being the voice. I do have a broadcasting background. But when I'm working through mine, you're hearing what I'm thinking in my mind as I'm going through. It's like watching John during Coffee and Craps. He's telling you why he's doing it. I get excuse me, way more comments excuse me, guys, way more comments from the ones that say, Jeff, I really appreciate you taking time to roll that out, than I do, Jeff, shut up, you talk too damn much. So with that said, we're going to end that comment there. Anybody else got anything they would like to say?
Well, I haven't gotten any negative feedback as of yet, as my channel just started. But if I do get some negative feedback, which I expect to eventually, I'm probably going to jump in the comments and go to war with them. You don't like my channel, I don't like you either. We don't want you over here. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously though. You gotta use it. It's like what Chris was saying earlier, and what everybody's been touching on. That negative feedback. They might be trying to be rude. They might be trying to be offensive, but at the end of the day, they end up being helpful to you because you get a chance to see things from the perspective of someone who doesn't like your content, and you learn a little bit about where you can improve and what angle you can look at it from differently. So I'm probably just going to handle it like that. I'm going to take it in, analyze it, think about what I can do differently, and try to make my channel grow and make it better.
Yep. The negativism will come to you from when you put an opinion out there. When you say, here's my, like, for example, the Headless Horseman, right? Me and Greg and Skill developed this thing. It's like, here's this great way to play. And the negativism comes from that. When you're teaching, how does the pass line work? How does this thing work? You're not going to get any negative feedback from that stuff. But when you start putting opinions out there and saying, here's a way to play, that's where it comes. It also comes when you edit videos. And Jeff will tell you this, the same thing. Jeff, I know, films the whole thing and just uploads it almost immediately. I do almost everything live now because of negative feedback. Because people accuse you, they will accuse you of doctoring the dice, like you're screwing with us, right? I'm sure Greg has heard the same thing too. I just did a video, and it's coming out soon, on the Headless Horseman. It's like an hour-and-a-half video. It's a long live rollout. And I actually rolled for about 2 hours. I made about an hour video out of it, and I cut out all of the me, resetting my rack and cleaning the table up and all that kind of stuff. It looks like I've doctored the video to give you good rollouts. And I expect to have a wave of negative feedback from that. At the end of the day, I did it for time, not for anything else. But you can expect that when you do live rolls, and I'm sure Waylon's had the same comments on his channel too, because you upload a video where you win, here come all the jackals come out of the woodwork to come after your ass. And you have to watch for that. And be like Jeff's like, you can tell them all the time, I'm honest. Here's how I'm doing it. I'm sure that Chris is the same thing. This is the role. Nobody believes you. It is what it is. And that's, like I said, if I was trying to sell you a book and I showed my winning strategy, it's one thing. If I'm just out here screwing around on a Saturday afternoon, I'm not trying to screw you out of anything. I'm just, here's my role, but that's going to be a thing too, for sure.
Right.
Just beware. As you come into this thing, beware. That's what's coming your way. So just kind of know that in advance. I'm sure, Chris, have you dealt with that yet already with your channel?
Yeah, I have a little bit, because at first I did do some more editing to make the videos look a little bit better. And like you said, I don't want to make my videos long where people get bored of me talking about something, or if I drop a chip stack cleaning it up and stuff. So I have had some people oh, you edited this one to make the strategy work. And I'm like, no, 100%. I didn't. But people are going to say it. And the one thing that I try to say in all of my videos, especially when I'm reviewing a strategy, is when I'm reviewing the strategy, it's not the first time that I'm rolling this out. It's not the first time that I've ever seen this strategy and I'm going on the table, rolling it out, and here's what happens. I usually roll it out at least 10 times myself, just so I can get the payments worked through and actually have knowledge on the system. So I'm not sitting here just making things up as I go. So I'll say that in my video, I rolled this out X amount of times beforehand, and whatever happens in the video. If it doesn't work in the video, it doesn't work in the video. If it works in the video, it works in the video. I'm not going to sit here and make the strategy work, because again, rolling on my table, it may work. Rolling at the casino, it may not work. It depends, where you're at, who's throwing the dice, all these kind of things. So I'll say, I rolled this out 10 times. It worked 8 out of the 10 times. And here's the rollout. I'm explaining what happens. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't work. But I think it's important to show strategies that work and don't work. But I think the best thing with the live rolls is you can like inadvertently show the holes. I seem to find a lot of holes when I actually roll them out live, where if I sat here and doctored the video and made every strategy look like it's going to win every single time, it puts that false hope in people's heads that I don't want to put there.
All right, let me interrupt here, and I'm going to go to Kevin first, and then Vince. So give me 1 second. But Big AZ still in the audience tonight, and I like what he said here. I'm going to put both of his chats out here. He said he used to get heckled all the time, but it doesn't bother him anymore. Just be you, enjoy yourself in the channel, and remember, it's your channel. But the best one I like is the one he put out there first, because I've been watching this past week at nighttime. He's brought out the Yahtzee cup to throw some random rolls. And the other night on my channel, Big AZ, when Vince and Skill were doing the heads-up Friday night fights, Vince actually said, "Jeff, do you have a Yahtzee cup?" And I said, "No, but I can go get a cup, but I don't have Big AZ's Yahtzee cup." So with that said, Kevin, what did you want to say?
Yeah,
one of these.
You know, I'm not a content provider, but all the things that you do, you guys share your knowledge, your love with all of us. We appreciate everything that you guys put out. If John is running a head-to-head challenge, and I don't know what the number was, and you know, all these different details, who cares? We get the message, right? All these little things. I'm not gonna say, "Oh, John, you made a mistake," or stuff like that. It's all good. So all the negativity, take it with a grain of salt, add it to your toolbox, and move on in life. You know, you'll have the lovers, the haters, but take it with a grain of salt and just move on, because you always have haters. So just take that and make your channel stronger, and show love to everybody. You know, I appreciate what John does, where in his morning bulletin board, you know, sometimes he has a subscriber count and he says, "Oh, you know, they're at this, Ken's at this," but he ups everybody's game so their subscriber count comes up. So I like how other people prop each other. So that's a very positive thing that I like to see as a recipient of you know, all you guys love and information that you guys put out. So I appreciate all you guys love and information.
Thank you, Kevin. Let me go over to Vince, because there's two topics we got to get to before we get done tonight. We're already been at it 2.5 hours. Every week, John, we say the same thing. We just don't know how long we're going to go, and here we are. Vince, what did you want to say?
Yeah, just quickly, I want to give a huge kudos to Chris from Dice Degen. He did mention holes, and that's a key word, holes. A lot of people, when they make their videos, they want to make them so they show off the strategy as if it would be properly played in the casino. But when you do it live, you get a lot of those bad rolls. And I did a video the other night. I got $15,000 in the hole. But you learn from those. You learn from those bad videos. Sometimes you learn a lot from those bad parts. Yeah. You learn, oh, well, how did he get there? He got there from doing this part wrong. And it's all about the holes and learning to correct that part. So huge kudos for Chris Dice Degen for that.
Thanks, Vince. I appreciate that. And the last thing that I'm going to say is, as a video content provider, I have the ability to edit some videos. And if I edit mine, I say in the video right off the bat, this is going to be edited. You'll see a transition come in, and I'll go into that part. But I'm sure somebody that's a professional video production person like Jeremy from Color Up, if you watch some of the channels, and I'm not going to call any of them out, but if you watch some of them, you can actually see, I'll call it like a skip or something along that. The dice may move, it may change, the chips are in different positions. Those people are editing their videos, and I don't think it's fair. That's the reason why I say I do mine my way, and I think that's the reason why John's doing most of his stuff live now and then cutting it up and putting it back together and shipping it out. Yeah. So you be careful. Vince makes up a very good point that there's holes there, and if a YouTube content provider is providing those to make it look good and have their channel look good, that's false hopes. Yeah. And you know, you're gonna get hammered when that person carries that to the casino and loses. With that said,
with that said, when I do a teaching video, like here's how you play the offensive line strategy. That's an edited, cut up video that's designed to be perfect. But when I do the live rollout version of it, that's a one-shot thing. So I do take my time and hours and hours and hours to edit a perfect teaching video or like a lecture style video. And that's okay. I think that's acceptable. But when I try and roll it out and show you how it actually plays, that's got to be live. But again, like Chris said, there are times where, how many times am I in the morning, I'll use my stick and I'll knock over all the freaking chips, or I'll spill my coffee on the table. I will cut that out, clean that shit up, and make it like a nice video.
Cut that out. That's the most entertaining part.
Remember that morning I did that? My stick hit my coffee, and I'm like, oh, damn. I just ruined my table. What happened?
So watch John run around like a chicken with his head cut off looking for a towel.
Getting a towel. I'm like, hey, guys, it's okay. My table's made for this. I'm getting a towel. I'm like, yeah, no, that happens. Yeah. But when I do the real video, I cut that part out, and it looks like I chopped it up, but it's not what happens. People, I think, pretty much know that we're not doing that. But you're right. There are people who say in email, how dare you put a video out where you fudge the results. I've gotten that email. Like, man, I wish you could see what's happening here in my stupid little bedroom that I've got my studio in. I'm not trying to, I'm not selling you a book where I'm trying to make it like my video, my strategy's great. Like, I'm not charging you to play the horseman. I'm like, I like it. Let's look at how it works. It is that simple.
Yeah, you can see what Big AZ just said. He said there's no editing with him, and you can tell there's no editing with what Big AZ does. It is what it is. I've been on his show. He records you when you go on to his challenges. He shows it all. He uses the same saying I do, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But what I really like about Big AZ is his bubble craps videos, because there's no way to edit the bubble craps. So you know that's really right.
My favorite Big AZ video ever. So I love my cum ladder strategy. The Big AZ video where he did the cum ladder starting at $1. And never hit it, and he got up to like $700. And like his next bet, he had to pull money out of his wallet to go in and get the next bet out, and he was shitting his pants, and he hit it. I know he remembers the video because he made a bunch of money on that video. But bubble craps is the devil, but it makes for great live video. I love those videos. They're so much fun to watch.
Let's move on to something that you did on your channel, and I want to get the comments. It's probably most of the people that are here in the channel. Sure. I'm watching as we look at who's still streaming with us, so we still have a pretty good audience. We did something that we started a week ago with Power Press Clips, Ray from Power Press Clips and Skill. And we called it Friday Night Fights. I shot that to you like at 4 o'clock in the morning. You were still up. You shot it right back to me. You took it and ran this past week with the idea. I was not able to be on there for the last 4 days until Friday. And so the Friday Night Fights isn't just going to be about craps. Your idea here on the Casino Gaming TV YouTube channel. By the way, guys, get into the Discord channel. Go to casinogaming.tv and get on that Discord. We had a couple comments in here today about the Discord channel. One was to you, John, from SJ. His name is Sam, so he wanted to tell you that. But let's talk about that Friday Night Fights. Not what happened between Vince and Skill, because I can probably see Vince is hiding. Sure. He's probably doing, let's not talk about it. But let's talk about real quick what direction you're going to go with this YouTube channel and the thing that we call Friday Night Fights, which could be craps, blackjack, roulette. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, Casino Gaming TV, the channel itself was designed to be a place to host only live streams. Like, I picture this like the Fox News or CNN of craps or of gambling. That was the idea. So all of us channel providers can do live streams here, because what happens is YouTube kind of penalizes your channel for doing live streams, ultimately. So I thought, let's have a channel where we don't get penalized and we just do live stuff. And then it became, well, what can we do as a fun show every week? What could be a kind of a cool thing? And the Coffee and Craps I do every morning on this channel, so it's kind of like your morning news. The Friday Night Fights thing, I've always had this idea of having this kind of head-to-head challenge, because there was a thing on, I guess it's like CBS Sports or whatever it was, where they were doing like the poker heads up, the one-on-one hold'em challenge, which was great TV. And I thought, why can't we do that with craps? And then, of course, that grows into, well, if it works with craps, can it work with roulette, baccarat, whatever? And let's do like a King of the Mountain kind of a league thing, where we just play And every Friday, I love your idea. Friday Night Fights is a great name for it. And we just have folks play head-to-head for an hour or so and just have kind of a running thing. And I think it spans the game. I don't think it's just craps. I think it's going to be roulette and blackjack and baccarat and potentially other things. And I want the Casino Gaming TV to not just be the craps channel. I want it to be live everything. And so what we're doing with that, and I did it every day this week. You did it on Friday twice now. Pretty good response from it. I think people kind of like it. And if we get the rules down and people have interest in it, I think that could grow into other things. I think that this channel itself, CGTV, could be a pretty big thing if people enjoy the live stuff. And I think that they kind of do. So far, so good. We've had some screw-ups with the rules and kind of getting things right and, you know, how it's going to play out. But I think it's going to be a cool thing. I'm very, very excited about it.
Right. Well, that was the point of why I wanted to talk about it. Was specifically about the rules. And I was trying to edit this live. And here you go, guys. Here's a perfect example of trying to do something live. This was the thumbnail from the other night that we actually went live with on Friday night. And it was a good match between Vince and Skill, regardless of what you said, who you wanted to win. It was a really good match. It was a learning experience for me, John. That's hard. I mean, 20 rolls and then 10 rolls hard. And then 6 rolls. It's really hard to play. Of course, I won. Took my own horn here. I beat Skill Friday morning, but Skill came back to play it at nighttime. And the idea is
to make it hard. I want to make it hard. Like the first round, 20 rolls, big bankroll, low minimum. Do whatever strategy you want. Bring your strategy to the table and play it. The second round, though, it gets harder, right? And Vince didn't like it, but obviously the idea is play with a short stack. Like you're proof. Like the example I gave was horse. If you ever played horse with somebody, you play HORSE, and when you get the E in basketball, you got to prove it. You got to make the shot a second time, or the game restarts, and the person gets to play again. We thought, well, let's do it with horse and craps, and like your prove it round. You won round 1, you prove it. Let's go, 250, 25-hour table, and you get 6 bets, and that's all you get, and see if it can work. I love the fact that it makes you have to think a whole different way in round 2. And then you have to think ahead for round 3, which is round 1 plus round 2's money is your round 3 bankroll. And I think that you have to kind of think about how you're working your way through it. I love what we did there. And I think that could work in every game. That works the same in roulette and baccarat and blackjack. If you're going to play a long game for a 3-game series, I think it's kind of cool. And what I want to do is build some intrigue and make it fun. And make it a big challenge for folks. And again, if nobody's watching, there's no channel. So it can't just be straight up craps or straight up whatever for an hour because it's boring. So we have to do something to mix it up.
And the idea is so that multiple YouTube content providers can run that Friday Night Fights. It doesn't have to be me or you. It could be anybody.
Anybody who has the ability. Yeah, you're right. Anybody who can do it can do it. You and me both obviously have the technology. We've got the app figured out and the layout figured out. As soon as like Chris from DGen gets his software configured to be able to run it, he can host it. And actually, it's like, think of it like football. Like, the Eagles are playing the Ravens in Baltimore, right? It's a different setup than if you're playing in Philly. And I think when you're playing on Chris's channel, it's a different experience than on my channel or your channel. And the more that we can get, A, we get a night off. We don't got to do everything. And B, it's like a different experience for the players. I think it's going to be, that's the magic of it, Jeff, for sure.
All right. Yeah, no, real quick before I go to the panel on this Friday Night Fights, because I'd like to get their comments. Looks like there's a couple. I put a comment up here from Joe Ramus, and I want to explain that, and everybody would chime in with your table. Joe asked he would love to see us place our bets in the correct place for the new players who want to know where the bets go, such as a lay and putting the bets proper on the bet line, and the same with the DC and the odds bet. The problem that we have, Joe, is our tables are much smaller than the average craps table. And although it looks like the puck fits into the area where it would be on my table, I can only fit 3 bets across on the bottom and 3 bets across at the top. I think John's got a smaller layout there. And Chris, you can chime in. Vince has got all that electronic stuff going on. He's got computers out the yin yang. It's hard to tell what he can do. But to answer Joe's question, the reason why it's hard to do is our tables are a lot smaller, because I call mine a studio table. It's seriously, guys. It's sitting on 2 sawhorses, 3/4-inch birchwood, under laminate, the layout, and what you see if you were to walk in here looks nothing like the craps table. But when you watch my videos, it does. So with that said, I'm going to go to Vince. He had his hand up.
I just wanted to include with John, what John was mentioning. I wanted to give a kudos to Waylon from Waylon's Way Craps. You know, you can actually take craps strategies or any other people's strategies. You can actually take those formats and actually incorporate them with roulette, blackjack, anything. So baccarat even. So when you go to the casino gaming TV to do a live stream with roulette or baccarat or blackjack, whatever, don't feel that these craps strategies are just designed for craps, because they're designed for a lot of games.
All right, so the comment that I made was I wanted to talk about the Friday night fights thing and get there. And here's a comment from Jay. He says he likes the challenge, but I would rather be judged for what I do with a session stake of 170 times than the table minimums. So this is tournament play. It's just like in poker. It's different than regular play, and the
so different.
I wish Mike from On Point was here, because Mike had a lot of input into these rules. I wish he was here tonight. He told me he wasn't going to be able to make it. But the rules that you came up with, when I played with Dylan Friday morning, it was tough. When I ran it Friday night, it was even tougher. Not from a dealing standpoint, but to watch them make their moves. All right.
Well, the thing is, I think I'm a pretty good craps player. I thought I was. And then when I got into the Color Up community, and you all should join colorup.club, by the way, with Jeremy from Color Up. We have a tournament that's going all the time. And this is my 3rd tournament there, and I've gotten my butt kicked every time. Now I'm in the finals. I'm actually rolling up to the finals in this tournament. And I've realized that tournament play is so different than regular craps play, right? It's different in so many ways. Because you have, and that's why I did the shows this week. You got to think about long-term play. You got to think about being aggressive when you can be, and all that stuff. So I've learned a lot about tournament play, and there are tournaments at casinos that you can play. So I thought it'd be fun to do it that way and think about craps from a different standpoint. So Jay is saying about the 170 times table minimum that he plays at, which makes total sense in the normal spectrum. But in a tournament, when you get a chance to play that, you are limited by number of rolls or time or bankroll. And how do you think through the table is really cool. And it's like we all have 30 strategies that we know. Which one's right for the moment? That's where it makes it, I think, super fun. So I'm enjoying it. I think, like I said, I'm inspired by what Color Up did, and this is a cool thing. So I look at Kevin's background.
Yep, that's kind of like what I was waiting for. We are approaching the 2-hour and 45-minute on this show, and it just baffles me every week that we still have 30-some viewers here with us. And Kevin, I don't know if your mic is on. If you can say something. We see little clouds today, Kevin. The last couple of weeks you showed us sunshine. You looks like you got a little cloud going on there. That's the sun setting in Hawaii. Kevin, give us some words.
Well, I cannot promise sun every day. Sometimes it's overcast, sometimes it's beautiful, but it's all good. Sunny, cloudy, windy, rainy. It's all good. Just like the negative comments and the positive comments, just take it with a grain of salt and just move on in life.
Kevin, your words always
John,
inspire
this is
me.
what's waiting for you, John. John, this is what's waiting for you, man.
I cannot wait.
Cannot wait, man. Look at that, my man.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful, Kevin. We really appreciate that. All right, guys, look, we are running into the 2-hour and 45-minute. There was a couple other questions that we just didn't get to today. I'm gonna cycle back around. Please don't drop off here yet. We're going to talk about dial-in just for a second. For those of you that are just coming in, I'm going to put this up one more time for everybody to see, because I'm going to probably end with this slide instead of my normal out. That we are trying to keep Dylan and Joy and the kids in our prayers and our thoughts. Dylan did have a heart attack earlier today, and he's in ICU. And so far, I've not gotten a message since we've been streaming that everything is okay. And so with that, I want to hit a couple highlights of some messages that came in while we were here. I'm gonna put this one up here from Greg. Greg put one up, I don't know, probably maybe a half hour or so ago. It was a question. I just want to say what a great guy I think Skill and Luck is. He has always been friendly and affable guy. We all kid each other at some times. We all love it here in our community, and I'm sure he meant the CRAPS community. So those type of comments I'm going to put up just a couple more, guys, if you'll indulge me just a second here. There was another one here that came from Eric Made of 10, I believe it was. This was made quite some time ago, and it just said, Skill and Luck will be fine because dice players are tough and hard people. We play craps even though we know the odds are against us, and we hope that the odds are with this Skill this time, and that he makes a successful and healthy return. And the last comment I'm going to put up here is going to be the one from earlier, is one that Joe put up there, was about taking a donation up for Skill. He is a truck driver. Joe's a retired truck driver. They don't have the best of benefits, and both John and I communicated with Skill's wife Joy, and if there's something that's needed, I think that John, you shake your head as I will. We'll do what we can do to put something together, and if we need to help a brother, I think this CRAPS community did it once before for the Crapsathon. We certainly could do it for one of our own. So with that said, I'm going to head back to the panel and thank everybody for being on the show tonight. I'll go ahead and let me pull up my Zoom screen here so I can see everything. We'll start with Rocky. Rocky, you've been quiet for the last hour. I'm sorry I didn't get to you on those questions. Do you have any final words you would like to say, and maybe a prayer or wish for our friend Dylan? We'll see if he unmutes himself. All right. Looks like he may not be there. Chris, how about you?
Just thank you for having me on. Great chat with the panel. Thank you to everyone in the comments. It's been great kind of reading through them as we go, and really enjoying it. And then I'm going to close with a heartfelt prayers going out to Dylan and his family, wishing them the absolute best, and hoping for a quick and speedy recovery. And I'm sure the CRAPS community will do whatever we can if needed. And again, thank you, and prayers for Dylan.
Thank you. Let's see, Kevin, I think do you want us to have some closing words and keep it short for us because that sunset is fading? I think maybe he might have locked himself up. Buckeye, how about you?
I just want to say it's been great hanging out with you guys tonight. Just 3 hours felt like 45 minutes.
Tell me about
it. Big ups to Dylan. I haven't had much of a chance to get to know him myself, or have too much interaction with him myself just yet. But I am looking forward to it once he recovers, and I am confident that he's going to recover. In the meantime, our love and our best wishes are with him and Joy through this trying time. And aside from that, I just want to say look forward to big things and more content from the channel. I got a lot coming up, a lot that I'm planning for over the next few months. So hopefully things gonna get real exciting. I look forward to sharing this journey with y'all.
All right, looking forward to it. Vince, you're gonna have the next to the last word. Vince.
Dylan, I just want to say, because I know you're going to be watching, man. I love you, brother. We've been doing our YouTube channels for quite a while, growing it and growing it and growing it. You're a pain in the butt sometimes, but I love you, buddy. So get well, and we're going to be playing again soon.
Yes, we are, and I can't wait to at least talk to him and hear his voice again, guys. I actually talked to him Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I've never met him in person. His wife described him as a big teddy bear as well, and he says all he does is, I think I said it earlier in the stream, is that he eats, he works, he sleeps, and he craps, and not necessarily in that order. When she says craps, he doesn't mean like what I'm talking about. He actually talks the game of craps, and we all know that is the case. John, I'm going to turn the final word to you. Thanks you for letting me host this again tonight on the Casino Gaming YouTube channel exclusively for the second time. A few technical difficulties, but we'll try to work those out.
Nobody cares about the technical difficulties. That was like 3 hours ago. Nobody cares. It's all good. We had a great show. Thanks for hosting, Jeff. Thanks for the panelists for being here. And I just want to conclude with what we've been talking about here, which is just a quick prayer and just, ask our Heavenly Father to bless Dylan's family, his wife, Joy, himself, obviously. Speedy recovery. Lay your hands on that family, Lord, and just keep them safe. Keep them, just watch over them. Watch over the community. And Lord, just help us kind of be with each other. This is a good chance for us to kind of reconnect with our families, as Waylon says here. And just lay your hands on Dylan and Joy. And that's all I have to say. And I wanted to say a quick amen and speedy recovery.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. All right, guys, to the panel, if you'll hold on when I get out off this show, and John, if you'll hang out here just for a second. Guys, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to close with the outro. I'm going to go to the final screen, and then I'm going to fade the black, and the show will end. I'm going to kill the audio. So, guys, if everybody would just hold in case I don't kill the audio. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and hopefully we'll have some news on Dylan this week. We'll have some news, hopefully, early this week, and I'm sure John on his daily show will be able to share that with you. And from the bottom of my heart to everybody that stayed in there, thank you, Arnell. I appreciate that. Thank you, Greg, for everybody that stayed in there this whole entire almost 3 hours. I'm humbled. Dylan's humbled because his idea never thought that we could make 30 minutes, let alone 3 hours. With that, guys, I'm going to let John's prayer go through. I'm going to go ahead and put this up, and we're going to fade the black. I'm going to kill the audio. Till next time, guys, as always, a prayer for Dylan. Be safe and play smart.